you live from the Hellmouth. It's the Popular Cinema Podcast. I'm your co-host, Payne.
I'm Bill, and that was a wide swath of sound accoutrements. It was super loud and it was super quiet.
I was trying to
There's
pull
no
up the
medium for you.
soundboard and pull down the volume key. I was trying to multitask.
Well, that was probably your first mistake.
Bill, this is the last time we'll be podcasting from the Hellmouth.
From that particular section of the Hellmouth, maybe, but you'll still be in the Hellmouth. Make no mistake. Let's not make any mistakes.
Uh, how are you this afternoon?
I'm fine. I have a little bit of a headache, but other than that, I took a nap and I've been out of
Yeah,
it.
we're falling apart over here. How was your evening? Was it date night?
It was. We watched Jessica Jones, which is getting really good. Episode 6 we're on, and there's a big denouement at the end of the episode. And we watched, what did we watch? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I think I fell asleep on. So
Okay.
there you go.
We're not
Friday
playing
night.
Jessica Jones. We're not playing Jessica Jones on this show.
Oh, I understand. That's fine. You can hate. You just go ahead and keep watching The Punisher. That's fine. That'll be good for your soul.
Yeah, I watched The Punisher like 8 months ago.
That's funny because it only came out like 6, but okay. Did you have a special preview with Marvel TV? They sent you a sneak peek preview.
All right. Let me start off with a compliment for you, Bill.
You alluded to such a thing.
I specifically put this in the folder for you. I want to say, in light of all the trollism and negativity and everything else out there that's just bad spewing, in the face of all this, you remain very positive. And in some little corner of my soul, I appreciate that.
What specifically to which are you referring, or are you just referring to like my general demeanor?
I'm just talking in general demeanor. As the audience knows, we occasionally talk outside of the show.
Really?
And within
Like occasionally, like every day, multiple times a day? That kind of occasionally?
and mostly our topics are always sort of on the same in terms of the entertainment vein. Because there's always something going on in the TMZ, Hollywood, Disney world. And usually these conversations, if we ever decide to do podcasts after dark, always involve profanity lace rants, namely coming from me.
Mhm.
Usually you say something like, you know what, I think Disney's really doing a good job over there. I'm so happy that Kathleen Kennedy is really pumping out the Star Wars, and I look forward to what they have to offer in the future. And usually my response is something like, fuck you, it's just stupid ass. Every time I start yelling and screaming, my voice gets octave highs, this or that. And in the end, you take a deep breath and go, okay, well, I mean, I still think they're doing a good job. You're entitled to your opinion. You try to just stay middle of the road. You
Mhm.
know, sometimes you express something negative, but for the foremost, you try to be a beacon of life. You don't add to the
How can we
trollism.
both be like that? And it'll just be we just be mired in the muck all the time. To be like, everything sucks, Jay. Yeah, Bill, everything sucks. Sucky McSuckers. Oh, that'd be a fun conversation.
Bill, in order for me to be like you, I'd probably have to take some sort of drugs or like have a lobotomy or something else like that. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Okay,
So
that's fine. I have to be the light to counter the dark.
yes,
That's
yes,
my lot in life. I'll accept
that's
the
that.
responsibility.
That's why it works. Because if we put superfan Carlos in the show, like I said before, it's going to be everything sucks fest,
Right.
which is fine. It's
So
true.
let me ask a question as somebody who gets sometimes I get puzzled by the whole um like negative vein. Like, so is it that you enjoy the things and that you just like to bitch about them because it gives you like food for thought about them, or do you really not enjoy the things and you just get mad at them all the time? Like, I hate to think that you're always not enjoying the things on some level.
Okay, let's take Lost in Space for example on Netflix. I watched the first couple episodes, which is directed by one of my famous directors, Neil Marshall.
Sure.
And I think I told you over the phone that I really like what Lost in Space is putting out.
Right.
And then towards the middle of the episodes, I called you screaming and ranting that this shit sucks. So, to answer your question, what I want is I have expectations that in 2018, after having watching movies since let's just say 1984, 82, 81, whatever you call it, I expect a certain level of quality after all these decades. And it's sort of a special like CGI. Like you don't expect spotty CGI because you're sitting there thinking like this should be perfected in a lot of ways. And so some of the things I expect there to be a certain level, and when it doesn't get reached, it really irks me. You know, it's like having
Sure.
Uwe Boll direct every movie. At some point in time, you're just like, come on, give me a break. You know this shit sucks. Why are you doing this to me? Does that make any
So
sense?
it does make sense, but like, I guess we see these things like very differently. Because, for example, if there's something that I want to enjoy and I want to give it a shot because it's in my wheelhouse or it's somehow interesting to me on some level, I will always give it a certain amount of leeway to say, okay, you know, for example, The Punisher. It's a Marvel Netflix show. It's in the MCU. I've watched all the MCU properties up till that point. So I enjoyed somewhat the Punisher's arc in the Daredevil series. So, and I've seen all the Punisher movies and enjoyed them, and they're all in my collection, even the first one with Dolph Lundgren. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But the actual execution of the show was so like displeasing to me that instead of being angry and making myself mad for watching it, at a certain point I was just like, I'm out. And my husband was like, yeah, I like the show, and so he finished the show on his own, you know. But I think I was out like episode 3 or 4 because it wasn't bringing me enjoyment, and I was feeling like at the end of the hour, like I wasted my hour, and I could have
Okay.
been watching anything else.
Yeah, I got you on that one.
So I guess at a certain point, like, do you get, do you feel like it's a waste of your time, or you just push through because you want to see the end, or has nothing got to you to the point where you're just like, I have to turn this off?
Well, yeah, that's been happening more and more because my time is starting to become more limited. And I apologize to the fans. I have a bit of a sore throat. Um, it becomes more limited, so therefore I have to start making executive decisions. I've started to cut back on my DVDs. I started a lots of things, and sometimes I just kind of push through. Like Lost in Space, I started enjoying it, um, and certain things have picked up, which will allow me to finish out the series. But there's been multiple series recently where I've just cut them off. I mean, we both stopped watching Runaways on Hulu.
Right.
We got pretty far into the season before we did that,
Right.
and I I feel if I can make an observation for you, I feel as though with you sometimes you try to find the silver lining in some of these things.
Sure.
And
I'll give it a shot if it's in my wheelhouse for sure.
yeah, but sure, even if it's not really in your wheelhouse sometimes though, you'll sit there and go, "Well, maybe this is what the director was trying to do. It doesn't necessarily fit with what I like, but looking at it from his perspective, it's interesting." You try to spin it a little bit.
Well, if I'm gonna feel like, it's gonna be something I'm gonna want to watch over again, yeah, I'll probably want to find something in it that makes me want to see it again. Sure. But I mean,
I
I've
ship
seen.
Bill O'Reilly. We're in the no spin zone. No spin zone.
I mean, there are certain things I just can't. I mean, as hard as I try, I just can't. I just can't get into.
Might I say I'm in the no spin zone? And I mean that with no sexual harassment lawsuits.
Really.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. Anyway,
I like to give a shout out to Carlos. He sent us over the BBC apparently has a sound effects library with
okay.
over 16,000 effects available. Would you
Oh
like to
joy,
hear
did
one?
he send you a link?
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh that's lovely.
That's a laser gun, Bill.
Is that you dodging the bullets as you're trying to exit your house for the last time tomorrow?
Unfortunately, when I tried to look up things like shame and booing, it was very difficult to find within that library. I
Let me
wasn't
get this
looking at
right.
things.
There's 16,000 sounds and there's no shame sound. There's no booing.
Also typed in Star Wars. Nothing popped up on that either. So,
Probably because it's, intellectual property of somebody else. That might have something to do with
oh, look at you. Check out the big brain on Brad.
it. Whatever.
So, Netflix came out with this article, Bill,
Mhm.
and where is it here? It's almost like their anniversary here, so they decide to pull back the curtain on their operation.
Anniversary of
And
what?
I think they've been around 20 years for their DVD
Really?
provider. What's that?
Netflix has been around for 20 years?
Yes.
Who
Isn't
fucking
that
knew?
amazing? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What were you doing back in 1998?
Going to Blockbuster like everybody else? Probably. That's what
That's
I'm
so
thinking.
sad. That's so sad. You remember walking around Blockbuster all the time, just walking around.
Sure.
What
I used to
movie were
love
they
the smell
hitting
of it.
on?
I just loved like the fucking environment.
Did I tell you? Anyway, I'm not going to go there. Did they
It's
ever
kind
sell
of
porn?
kind of
Did they
missing
ever
it.
sell porn at Blockbuster?
I don't think so.
Did
I'm
you
gonna
ever
go.
go into one of those video stores where they have the curtain, where they have all the dirty films?
I'm gay. What do you think?
So you could they didn't do that at Blockbuster, so you have to go to some sort of like off brand video store then, huh?
Well, I mean, it was like North Campus Video, I think it was called, or like Video Central or something. They still have a Video Central here. I don't know if they still have a porn room, but they still
Did,
have a Video Central.
did you ever feel weird going back there behind the curtain, like everybody's looking at you funny?
No? Do I give a shit? No? Did you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Why?
I mean,
I mean,
one of
everybody
us
that
went
was
to.
in there would be doing the same thing you're doing. So what are they going to throw stones at you
Yeah.
for?
What about the 20-year-old girl at the counter when you go to check out your movie?
You think she gives a fuck? She makes like $4.50 an hour. She's like, whatever. Video card. She give a fuck.
I'm sorry. I went to Catholic school like
Oh,
you.
pull the
Maybe there's
stick
some
out
sort
of
of
your ass,
shame in there.
Prunella. Okay. Give me a break.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's good. You're sure of self, huh? You just throw your videos from the back curtain room down into the counter and be like, "Yep," and I'll take some mints too. Is that what you're saying? Just gonna...
Well, I mean, no one does that anymore, so it's been quite some time, as I'm sure it has been for you, that I've actually gone into a video store to rent any adult features. So I can't really remember, but it's been a long time. Probably 10 years, maybe longer.
All right. So Netflix pulled in about $12 billion in revenue last year.
No, wait a minute. Wait, before we move off the subject, because what I did used to do, now that we're on it, is I remember it was on Market Street. I can't remember the
Yes.
name of it, but it was like the adult video store. And this is
Yes.
before they had like prolific video. I mean, I guess they rented videos, but they were like expensive.
They were
So
like
they had the like
49.95. 49.95.
I don't know about the actual purchase price, but okay, thanks for giving me the heads up, Grandpa.
Listen, we were
But
all 16 once. Come on.
no, but like they used to have the little booths in the back where you would like go and put like quarters in the little video screen. And it would always be like there'd be like something slippery or slimy on the floor, like somebody had just like finished themselves before you got in there.
Oh,
And it
okay.
would always like stink of like piss and like poo. And like you didn't really want to touch anything, so you tried to like put the quarter in the slot without actually touching the slot while you're slipping the quarter in or whatever. or the dollars or whatever
And
it was.
you know what that sound is? That's the sound of us, some of our female listeners turning off our podcast.
Yeah, it's possibly your sister and your nephew who are listening to the show, going, "What the fuck?"
He's rolling his eyes. Yes, yes. You know we were there together, right?
What?
We went to that store together as a group.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, that sounds like some gay shit. No.
What are you talking about? You
You can
don't
go there.
remember?
No. What the hell are you talking about?
It was three of us. It was you, me, and Ryan.
Oh, stop.
Yes.
We did not.
We were all trying to make a plan to go to the adult video store, and we pulled in the car into the parking lot and came up with
Who
a
was
game.
driving?
Who else was driving? But Ryan probably. I didn't
Stop.
have a car.
I have no recollection of this.
You maybe had the car because you had the rust bucket.
Yeah.
So we probably went in your car because Ryan would have probably been like, I can't get this car towed or pulled over. It'd be too much. So we pulled in, and I remember having the game plan, talking to both of you, going, this is how this is going to work. Okay? We're all going to walk in separately. And when you walk in, act like you know where you're going, and then each go down a different aisle. Like you spread out and fan out. You don't recall this?
No, I don't.
Then I went in, and then I immediately made a left turn and just started walking down the aisle, acting like I belonged. Like, like, hey, what's going on, man? That's what I did.
They let you back there without carding you?
Yes. And then after I
How
kind of
old
was like perusing the videos, I got bold, and I went up there and asked for tokens for the booth.
Well, didn't they have like a coin machine? Couldn't you have just gone to the machine? Maybe they didn't have it back then. I don't know.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall any of this. How many times did this happen?
Just once.
Oh
Just
my
once.
God. And why do you remember this? Because of all the fucking things that I've asked you to remember or recall over the last years, you're always like this. I have no recollection. You remember that time, Jay, when you got hit by a car and got run over by a bulldozer? Nope, no recollection. You remember that time when we fell off the edge of a cliff? Nope, no recollection. Oh, that time we stopped by a video store, adult video store, and went to the token booth? Oh, yeah. Remember that? It was you, me, Ryan. What the fuck?
Yeah. My years of practice have taught me it's always good to have no recollection on shit. It's always good.
Except this kind of weird, obscure ass shit, which I really don't remember, but okay.
Well, it was very traumatic.
Why? Did we get thrown out?
What's that?
Did we get thrown out? Why was it traumatic?
Okay, I'll share a story for the listeners out there. This will bring us all together. I'm surprised. You should know this story. I've told it to you.
I don't remember.
I even told it to my woman. I got the coins. This is the time when they had strippers at this place.
What? Are you sure? Were you with some other black friend? Because I do not know what the hell you're talking about.
It's Market Street. They had strippers at this place. They were selling videos and strippers inside the booth where you put a quarter in and then the window would lift up. So I walked back there with quarters and I put it in the slot, and then the window opened up. And it's a stage area. And all I saw was like somebody with their legs crossed, sort of sticking out, but I couldn't see the rest of the body. And so I started banging on the window to let them know I was there. I was going like that. And then all of a sudden the person started to wrestle, and then she kind of walked out. But this is,
What do you mean wrestle? Like with herself?
Wrestle. Like you woke her up.
Like you woke her up. Okay.
Yeah, she was taking a nap. And so
in her nudity.
I started. Yes, I was banging on the thing. She started to wake up, and then she came out. And as usual, this is like the Hellmouth Part 2. So she looked like a cracked addict woman, pimples, saggy skin, all sorts of, it's not the 18. That's why you're paying a quarter. So she saunters over to the window, and then she starts pointing down at the coin slot. And I'm kind of looking at her, and she's just like, she's mouthing the words, "Put money in the slot." And I was like, okay. So I didn't have any money.
When you say these things, are these like euphemisms? And is this like put the coin in the slot? That's like code for something else, right?
No, it's not, Bill.
Okay.
Okay. It's actually, I'm talking very literal here.
Okay.
She's pointing down to put the money in this slot. There's another slot to put in. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm
Was it like
like,
in jail when they put the food trays through the door? Is that how? Is that
yes,
how
but
it
it's
goes?
only can
Okay.
fit money in there. Okay. So you can't put anything else in there. You're just so dirty. I mean, can you get your mind out of the gutter?
I'm sorry, but I was in that. Let me tell. Is this the one that was down close to my street on Myrtle off of
Yes,
Market
it's
Street?
probably like several blocks from your
Right.
house.
Okay. Now here's the thing. I went in. Now,
Well, let
aside
me
from the
finish.
one time
Wait,
we
let
went
me
in there,
finish.
I went in
Let
there
me
many times, and I do not recall any booths
They
with
had booths
live
with
people.
strippers.
Okay.
So anyway, she says put money into the slot. And so I don't have any dollar bills. Okay, because, we weren't working.
Well, you were
So
working at
I
your
grab a
street.
whole bunch of coins and quarters and I shove them into the slot. And then all you see is these coins fall onto the floor like quarters and nickels and dimes. They fall on the floor in front of her. And then she looks down at the coins on the floor and picks up like a quarter and then looks at me like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then as she's saying these words, the screen comes down. So I proceeded to run away and leave because she seemed mad.
Uh-huh.
End of story.
Where were Ryan and I?
You guys were out there pacing around the videos.
Okay. I swear to God, I don't remember a thing about this event. I don't know why I blocked this particular thing, but I don't.
This
Even you
this
talking about
shit
this
was
does
like
not.
Ocean's 11. I
It
was
does
sitting
not
there
ring a bell.
planning this out. I was sitting there like, this is how it's going to roll. This is how we're going to do this.
I got nothing.
Say that stripper portion, that didn't last too long.
I imagine not because, like I said, I went there many times after that, probably over the next several couple years, whatever, and I don't recall anything about strippers unless it was all just females, and there was probably no males, which I'm sure there probably wasn't, and so it didn't interest me anyway. But I don't recall them actually even being there.
Ugh.
But okay. But I did patronize that place many, many times.
Yeah, that's why you turned out the way you did. I mean, it's clearly.
My ex-boyfriend met his boyfriend that he's currently with in that place. Actually, they've been
I
together
would
for 20
expect.
years.
Yeah. Okay.
25 years.
Of course, this is where you pervs hang out. This is exactly what you guys were doing.
Oh, whatever.
So
As you're
I,
tossing bird seed through the fucking window to the chick trying to get a fucking lap dance. Whatever.
it puts the money in the slot, or else it's the hose. All right. So
Wow.
moving on.
Well, that was quite a divergent little. I'm sure the listeners really appreciated that trek down memory lane.
Yeah, well, you're young and 16. This is what my sister has to look forward to with her nephews.
Hmm.
My nephews.
Your
Anyway,
nephews.
so in 1998, Bill, I'm going to give you the most frequently rented DVD in each year of Netflix's history. We'll quickly go through it.
Really? Are you really, really rolling your tongue this hard up Netflix's crack?
You know how I am with Netflix. I love Netflix, Bill.
Really? Okay.
We'll pull some of your subjects out here. We'll do some
Okay.
Steven Spielberg shit. Whatever.
That's fine.
1998, The Big Lebowski.
Okay. That was the highest
1999,
rented
Office.
movie on Netflix in 1998?
What's that?
That was the highest rented movie on Netflix in 98?
Yes.
Okay.
1999, Office Space. 2000, Gladiator. God, I love Gladiator. Carlos just watched that last night. He just texted me he was watching it. He got sucked in. You're a fan of Gladiator? You should
I
be.
am-
Like
I'm not.
Spartacus or what's that?
I'm not. I was not a fan of that movie.
Why not?
I kind of.
You're gay. Aren't you supposed to like Gladiator movies?
Not, I mean, not that one.
Okay.
Just didn't do
You
it
like
for me.
Spartacus? You like Spartacus?
Not particularly.
Oh, okay. All right. 2001, Memento. 2002, The Bourne Identity. 2003, Mystic River. 2004, The Notebook. Have you ever seen The Notebook?
I have not.
Why not?
I don't know. Looks a little sappy for me.
But you're watching all these other sappy movies with romance and Beauty and the Beast. How come you haven't watched The Notebook? It's like known.
All right, if you want me to spell it out, I'm just going to tell you. Ryan Gosling just doesn't do it for me.
Okay, it's good to see that once again your movie viewing is controlled by your libido, but that's fine. That's fine. 2005, Crash. You did
Okay.
not like that movie for sure.
Never saw it.
Wasn't it a 2005? It won for Best Picture, and something else lost out in 2005, which soured you on.
I
the
believe
Academy
it
Award.
was. I want to, but it couldn't be one of the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't remember what it was, but
2006, The Departed. 2007, The Bucket List. Are you kidding me?
that was kind of
Wow.
a popular movie.
Wow. Well, I mean, it seems like for elderly, but okay.
Wow.
2008, Hurt Locker. 2009, The Blind Side. 2010, Inception. You know what, Bill? I've got to probably watch Inception. I've never fully watched that movie all the way through
Why not?
because it just seems boring.
But didn't you rent it? And I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I
the
think I
girls were-
fell asleep at parts. And Leo DiCaprio is not one of my favorites.
What's your problem with Leo DiCaprio?
It's just not. There's just something where it's just doesn't do it for me as a lead actor.
Okay.
I did like him in The Wolf on the Wall Street, but he's not one of my favorites.
Was the wolf on the Wall Street or was he of the Wall Street?
I'm going to ignore your smart ass comment. 2011, The Lincoln Lawyer. 2012, The Hunger Games. 2013, Captain Phillips. 2014, The Monuments Men. Wow. 2015, The Martian. 2016, Sully. And 2017, Wonder Woman.
That's a quite eclectic group of movies.
Yeah. So apparently, with their DVD sales, Netflix racked up about $450 million last year, which is down from the previous year of $542 million. Clearly,
Because people
this
are
is not a
renting
big
less.
money maker for them.
Well, I mean, obviously we know that the decline of the disc has been happening for some time, so it's not very surprising.
Bill, are they ever going to get rid of DVDs, Blu-rays?
I imagine at some point they'll go the way of like VHS, but I don't think it'll be right. I don't think it'll happen in the next 5 years. I think
And if they were to
eventually-
do that, that means they would have to be pumping it directly into our households. Then, am I correct?
right, which I hope they won't do it until they get streaming up to the level of quality that Blu-rays and 4Ks are at.
Okay. All right. I'd like to give a shout out for the deaf people. We had some deaths over the past several days.
Yeah,
We lost Vern Troyer. Are you a fan of his movies?
I mean I've only seen the one, so Austin Powers.
Harry Anderson from Night Court.
I watched it back in high school, but I mean it wasn't like Arvin.
Yeah. We watched Night Court. Is that because there was not much else on?
I don't know. It was a funny show. I mean, back in its time, it was okay.
We lost R.L. Emery.
That's
Emery.
the military guy.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket. Also the voice of Sarge in Toy Story. I think he was also in Seven. I think he was in Seven too.
Okay.
And we
I'd say-
lost Art Bell.
Who's that?
That's a shout out for my woman right there. He was the guy that started like Coast to Coast podcasting. I forgot what year it was. Where you started talking about the paranormal stuff. Like he was X Files before X Files was X Files.
Okay.
You never
He
heard
did.
of Coast to Coast?
Like in passing, once or twice, yes, but not like.
That's where I see our show going, Bill. I would love to do that. For us to set up some sort of thing. Obviously, I would need more training. But we set it up and we take live callers.
Why would we do that? That would mean we would have to entertain other people's thoughts
Right.
and opinions.
I look forward to sitting there going, we have a caller on line 7 who would have a comment on the Russo brothers and their upcoming Infinity War movie. And go ahead, caller. He'll be like this. First time caller, long time listener. This is Drunk Mike. I like to
Really?
say, fuck Bill and his opinions. Okay, Marvel has a problem with villains.
Oh, did we drop that caller? We'll try to get him back. Meanwhile, caller number 2, you're on.
I mean, for at least 20 minutes, we should be able to do that. Just take some callers, some listeners. I mean,
I have some heartbreaking news to tell you. Nobody listens to the show, so we're going to be having a dearth of callers.
it's going to be
We're gonna have
so
the
sad
same
when I
three
have to.
callers every week, which is the same 3 listeners we have every week. So there's always that.
I look forward to Superfan Melissa calling into the show saying, I have a bone to pick with Bill's comments on women again.
Oh, Melissa, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Call us back on a landline.
All right. Did you see that Netflix was also thinking about buying their own theater?
I did, and I think that's actually a smart idea.
I mean, they got so much money. Why wouldn't they? Is there some sort of thing where they have to have multiple theaters in multiple cities, or is it just they
I
need
believe they have
one?
to have at least one on each coast to
One on
qualify
each
for. Yeah, to qualify for major awards categories. I think they do.
Oh, that's such bullshit. That's like some sort of like arbitrary hoop somebody makes up.
Really, Jay?
Ah,
I mean, one theater on each coast is not that much money. I think they can handle it
why don't I just have one theater in South Dakota and then one theater somewhere in Phoenix, Arizona? What's the problem with that?
because
Why I have to go East Coast, West Coast?
they're called flyover states for a reason.
Wow, it's so
Okay,
disrespectful to
they're not
our
at the
middle
heart
America
of
listeners.
anything remotely close to the industry hubs, so no one would go to them and qualify them as far as people who vote for the Academy Awards. So you want to have them in a major metropolitan area like New York or LA.
Why don't you shoot our middle America listeners in the face with that comment?
Well, I live in
Okay.
Middle America too. Still a flyover state. I'm willing to admit it. I'm just saying, it is what it is. You can't help what it is.
All right. I'm going to get off the Netflix. I'm not even going to the Netflix story about them pulling out of the Cannes Film Festival. So they're not going. They're out.
Right,
They don't
which is
like the way
also
they're
why
being treated.
probably they're
What's
thinking
that?
of buying their own theaters, which is it's a smart idea. I mean, if all they have to do to qualify is to open one theater in New York and one theater in LA, I really think that's really kind of not too hard for them to do. And then then people won't have an excuse to keep them out of the awards contention.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to throw you a bone here. Let you do your masturbation thing. I hear Steven Spielberg's doing a DC movie. What? Steven Spielberg going superhero?
Well, it's a DC property, but it's not necessarily a superhero, is it? Isn't it sort of like one of their imprints, like uh, Road to Perdition or History of Violence? Isn't it like along that vein?
That's exactly what it is.
That's what I
Steven Spielberg's going to be doing a movie called Black Hawk, based on a 1941's military comics number one.
What is it?
And
Did you read what this character is about? About because I did not get a chance to read what the actual story is.
yeah, it's about an international squadron of heroic pilots led by a man named Black Hawk, who fought the Nazis and their ilk in World War II. Bored. I'm already bored.
Well, if you would have given me the description for Road to Perdition, I probably would have thought that that wasn't very interesting either. It's one of my very favorite films. Probably the same goes
What are
for
you,
maybe.
what are you talking about? Okay, all right. Let me pull up the Road to Perdition synopsis. Go ahead.
Um, you know, does just because it doesn't have superpowers doesn't mean it can't have like a heroic appeal to it. Like I don't know, like The Rocketeer, like that kind of thing. That guy didn't have superpowers, but that's a cool as fuck movie.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I first heard this. But this is the Road to Perdition synopsis. Mike Sullivan is an enforcer for a powerful Depression area Midwestern mobster, John Rooney. Rooney's son Connor is jealous of the close bond they share when Mike's eldest son, Michael, witnesses a hit. Connor uses the incident as an excuse to murder Sullivan's wife and youngest son. Forced to flee, Sullivan and Michael set out to a journey of revenge and self discovery. Oh boy, I'm breaking out in sweat, Bills. That sounds just so good.
Like I
Oh,
said, it probably would not have been something I would necessarily think of to say, I got to run out to it. But if Steven Spielberg's directing it, it's certainly going to up the anticipation or interest level, And let's face it, DC can use all the help they can get right now. So even if it's tangential DC, having Steven Spielberg's name attached to it isn't going to really hurt them at this point.
uh, I'd be more interested in Steven Spielberg do an actual movie where somebody's actually flying or shooting lasers out of their eye. That would
Sure,
make more
don't
sense.
get me wrong. I'm not going to turn my nose up at that either. But being that he's involved, being it's getting his foot in the door, as you will, for this kind of property.
So, do
Yeah,
you think Steven Spielberg is doing this whole? Listen, you've been keeping track of him. Is he out there sitting there going like, "Listen, I got to make some money. Let me do Ready Player One, and now I'm going to go back to make some other stuff that I want to do because clearly I like making movies where we kill Nazis." So, I mean, is that what he's doing now?
I think Spielberg's doing exactly what the fuck Steven Spielberg wants to do, and when it coincides with stuff I like to see Steven Spielberg do, then the interest is there. Now, that being said, I haven't taken my black ass to see Ready Player One either. So, yeah, I mean, I will probably actually buy the Blu-ray when it comes out, like sight unseen, just because it's a subject matter and a guy I like. Hopefully, I'll like it, but just for some reason, I just didn't feel like leaving the house to see it. I don't know if everybody else felt that way, but I don't know how well it did. But I mean,
This is breaking news, babe. I'm sorry, breaking news, Bill.
yeah.
Breaking. Um, I just got a text from Carlos, and I've been living in some sort of vacuum here. But Westworld premieres tonight, season 2.
Where the hell have you been?
I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. I've been in some sort of. I've been doing shit, as you know. Thank you very much.
Sure, sure. But while you're doing shit, aren't you also shitting on the toilet with your tablet? And beeps and boops come through like they normally do?
Yeah, but I'm playing Clash Royale and playing other video games.
Oh, no, no more time for the news, huh?
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about sitting on the toilet with my tablet because if somebody comes over my house and wants to use my tablet, they're not going to use it for feel that there's going to be fecal matter all over it. That's not
Well, they probably don't have to worry about it because that tablet's not out of your hands long enough for anyone to actually get a chance to use it. So,
I'm looking at this. I did not know that, but that makes it very exciting. So maybe that'll be my treat for getting a lot of work done tonight. It says Westworld creators aim to make nudity equal between men and women.
why is that exciting?
It's not exciting. That's just one of the headlines.
Uh, we were watching Jessica Jones last night, episode 6, and since you're probably not going to watch it anyway, I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you.
Sure.
But Trish, her friend, the reporter lady,
Yep.
ends
I
up
know her, the
having
blonde.
sex with Malcolm, her assistant guy, the druggy guy, her neighbor guy.
Yep. Okay.
And like, I don't know. It feels like they just do these gratuitous sex scenes on these network shows, these Netflix shows, just because they can get away with showing like tits and ass. And it just, I don't know if like I need to really see all the explicitness of like people like having sex. Like he's like on top of her, like humping and pumping, and there's very little left to the imagination. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know if I need to see all that.
Do you think it's because you're old as shit, or do you think that it's just gratuitous for this show?
I just think
Because
it's gratuitous. I don't know. Maybe I watch too much network TV, or maybe I'm just old fashioned. But I mean, give me a little thigh, give me a little kissing, and a little laying on the bed, and then you could just go ahead and cut the scene. I don't actually need to see like the sweating and the woman's face getting all bunched up because she's in pain because the black guy's got a big one and he's plowing her. I don't
is
need
this
all that.
is this designed to is it push the story forward in some sense? Is it supposed to be like
Well,
he's very very passionate or something?
well,
What?
I mean, I don't know. You know how these Netflix shows go. I mean, there was another scene in the Jessica Jones season. I don't know if you've never seen any of the episodes this year, but there's this whole sort of tangential storyline with the lesbian lawyer who
Yeah,
finds out she's dying of like ALS, and she
yeah.
goes on like
Trinity
a
from
yeah, she
Careful
goes on like a
Boss.
bender and hires like all these lesbian hookers, and like it's like a 20-minute scene out of like a 45-minute show in which like she's like grinding all up on the women and like bending over and they're like, spanking her ass and like making sexy with her boobies. I just don't feel like this is not why I'm watching the show. I'm not watching softcore. I'm not watching Cinemax After Dark. I'm watching Jessica Jones, which is supposed to be a Marvel superhero. I don't I guess the gritty reality maybe is too much for me sometimes.
Oh man, I could have used these shows back in the day versus like Benny Hill when I was taping Benny Hill trying to catch a side of a tit back when I was like 12.
I don't know. I mean, Trinity's a little long in the tooth to be like rubbing up on some bitches.
Not when you're 12, but okay, all right. So,
I don't know. I just don't know if I need all of this. It just feels gratuitous. That's all I'm saying. It just
well,
feels like
I
they're
can
only
tell you
doing
right
it because
now.
they can get away
I
with
can
it.
tell you right now, those shows when they do that, I find it to be like such a waste. Like it doesn't seem part and parcel to the show.
It's
You
not.
know,
It's just
eh,
they're doing it so they can call themselves like gritty and adult.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and it actually works against them for me because it just doesn't fit. If it was some sort of like sweeping romance 2 hour show when you're trying to commit, I, I give it a pass. But these episodes are like, there's what, 10, 13 episodes, an hour a piece, 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't really care like that. I don't, it's a superhero show. I don't need to see Jessica Jones or her cohorts banging. It's just not really necessary.
Yeah. It's
Not,
like I said.
not
It
in
just
this
doesn't.
world, not in the world that they've created, not necessary.
Well, there's so much of these shows that isn't actually necessary. So it's just another thing that sort of delays the inevitable, which is like getting to the fucking point of the story. But they have 13 episodes to fill.
And I feel
So
like if you probably wanted to watch something like that, you'd probably be watching a different show. Like, I don't think the attraction to going to Jessica Jones is because, like, oh man, did you see Jessica Jones last night? Those lesbos were really going at it real hard. I mean, like that's not why you turn on the show.
right. But maybe, maybe I'm not exactly the audience that they're really after. I mean, I'm not into like Law and Order SVU, and maybe that's the audience they're going for. I don't know.
Is that is that why we're turning on Daredevil? Is because we want to watch him do Judge Judy shit? I mean,
No, but I think their aesthetic on that network for these shows seems to be antithetical to what the movies do, and I guess that's what they're trying to do is to appeal to a different core audience. In any
so
case,
you won't be watching Westworld tonight?
no, I didn't watch Westworld the first season, so
This is what this is based on Chris Nolan's brother's treatment. Um,
okay,
he's one of the writers on it. I don't
right.
know. Carlos is a big fan of Westworld. I don't. He's probably already like spoiled because he reads ahead. He's like on Reddit, always trying to find out what's going on, all the ins and outs, where it's going. I hope with this season for me that they don't try to keep misleading me in the show.
Is that
Like,
what they did the first season?
yeah, that's the way I felt. It's the same thing with Lost in Space. There's a lot of things where it's just kind of frustrating as a viewer, and like with Nolan's writing, like they want to reveal the secret at the end. Like if they give you too much information, then you know too much, and it's almost like it spoils the story. So they're always doing the big reveals, but part of this then is everybody talks in riddles. You know what I mean? Like this is once again I had the same complaint. Instead of like answering a question like where did the guy come from? The other person answers, well, he comes from here and he comes from there and he wound up here. You're like, what? Why do you just say the answer? And you don't want to say the answer is because if we say it, then we can't reveal it to you at the final episode. So that's what he's been doing, and I'm hoping that there's not a lot of that. Like, let's just get to the nitty gritty and stop playing me with riddles.
So you feel like
Uh,
they were dicking you around in the first season?
absolutely, absolutely,
So
and
then
it's all
why go
because
back for the second season? Do you think they're going to stop dicking around with you, or do you think like you're going to push through the dicking?
I'm hoping, Bill. I'm hoping. I mean, that's why we're going to see Infinity War with the Russo brothers. I'm hoping that somehow we won't have the shaky cam as we had in Civil War. So,
So
right?
where are you with anticipation for Infinity War? Because I told you I've gone on a fast for the last week here. Like I've cut off all news outlets and all like references. Although I will tell you honestly about the poster, I bought the poster. The one I told you that I wasn't going to buy because it was too expensive and it didn't have their helmets on. I bought it anyway. Because you know why? Because I can't help it. I have a problem.
Yeah.
So I bought the
And, and,
poster.
and and this is why I don't even have these discussions with you, because as soon as you sit there and say like I'm not happy with it because they don't have their full costumes on and it seems very expensive, and I say don't buy it, and then you're just like this, I'm going to buy it anyway.
So I
And it's
bought
gorgeous,
it.
huh? It's gorgeous.
It is actually pretty cool on my wall.
Yeah.
It's not as what I would prefer, but it's still a fucking cool poster. But other than the poster, I told you I've like stopped looking at the behind the scenes videos and all the trailers that I used to watch like nightly on a fucking loop for like a year. And I feel like I've gotten to a point where some of it's my own faults, but also some of it is like the oversaturation in the media. Like it's just like I just want to like see the movie. I don't want to see anything else about the movie. I don't want to like look at pictures of the movie. I don't want to read articles about interviews about the movie. I'm just going to like go into the movie with whatever I know now and just go in and like hopefully enjoy the movie. But where are you like? Are you like frothing at the mouth? Are you like somewhat in the middle? I mean, it's the biggest fucking Marvel movie ever. I mean,
Listen, I'm just
fuck
trying to keep my
yeah.
body from breaking down and trying to pack up my shit, Bill. That's where I'm at. I have no time to think about it.
So in
I'm
the
going to be.
middle of all of this is sort of like a helpful distraction to you not to be thinking about it because you've got all this other shit to do, like get the fuck out
I
of your
don't
house.
have time to think about it. I'm an immigrant. I'm trying to get from one place to the other, and I'm sitting there in some other strange man in a strange land just trying to make it. So, but I did watch that TV trailer with the Black Order, which is what I was bitching with you about last week. So,
Didn't see it.
there was some sort of fight scene, which is you didn't ask me why I had that comment about superheroes and their powers, but
Right.
it was based on me watching that TV trailer, which I
Okay.
will point out to the fans. For me, this is the geek talk now. This is where Carlos is probably fast forwarding now when we go into geek mode. And we can also talk about what Thanos' backstory. But anyway, my point is in that trailer, they had a fight scene between Cap and whoever. I'm not going to tell it for you. Um, and the big thing for me being a former comic book reader, usually throughout the history, they establish the parameters of all the superheroes' powers. You've seen those books like the encyclopedias where they sit there, they say Superman, and then they give them a power level of 8, and they give them speed a 7 and fighting ability 6. They list out all their capabilities and their powers and where they rank. I love shit like that. And, like Hulk, what's his power? It's always a 10. Things of that nature. So you're always comparing, like, ooh, Superman's a 10 and Hulk's a 10. And then, like, Batman's a 2, but his fighting skills are a 9. Shit like that. My question is with the Russo brothers, I think I think they're as smart as I think they are for comic book heroes. I hope they don't have situations where you have Thanos, who they've come out and said is stronger than the Hulk. I hope they don't have a situation where somebody Hawkeye, who's a human, or a Black Widow, like punches Thanos and he falls down, or they kick him and he says "ow." Like there should be no illusions that they have no chance individually against this character. And if they do something like that, it's going to really disappoint and upset me. The answer to that is you don't put those characters in that situation. And we saw this in Batman versus Superman, where you had Batman fleeing from Doomsday and attacking from the sides, not head on, which makes sense. And I'm hoping they don't have situations like that because it just won't make sense to me at all. It'll just be stupid. But go ahead, comment on that. Hello?
Hello?
What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know. My headphone just cut out for a second. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. I think
Did you? I just went. Did you not hear anything I said?
No, I heard most of it.
Okay. Do you have a comment on it?
Yeah. I think having just watched the Avengers: Age of Ultron, and I stand by my opinion that the Avengers: Age of Ultron is a better movie than Avengers One on many levels. Even though I know in the fandom at in general it's considered subpar to the other Avengers movies. Um, I think the Russos have a finger on the sort of, I guess, power levels of the heroes. There was a scene in Age of Ultron when Hawkeye smashes through a window with Scarlet Witch, and she's like hiding because she's scared of whatever's going on with the Ultron bots. And he's like, you can stay in here and wait for your brother and be safe or whatever, but I'm gonna go out. Yep, me. It's crazy as hell. I'm gonna go out here with arrows trying to fight these giant robots, but that's what I'm gonna do. Like, whenever there seems to be a scene like that where it seems like the odds are impossibly against the heroes, they usually have them acknowledge that, and also they don't sort of cower away from the idea that these people are sort of hopelessly outmatched. So I don't really particularly worry.
I don't mind that. That's I understand that because that's what makes them heroes. I'm cool with that. But you can't have a situation like all that what you said, I don't have a problem with and I welcome that. That's the whole like against all odds. I'm going to still go out there and try my best. Okay? I'm down with that storyline. But at the end of the day, Hawkeye's not going to be able to beat Thanos.
Right.
So don't waste my time with it. Okay?
Right.
So don't
and
waste
I mean, again, the money shot in the trailer, at least the one I saw, is the scene in which Thanos is bringing the Infinity Glove down against Captain America, and you see Captain America like struggling with all his might to like just hold him back, and Thanos has like this shocked look on his face, like, I should be able to smash you with like my pinky finger, but you have Cap, who's sort of like, it's like that thing when people's kids get trapped under a car and they somehow are able to like lift a car to get their kids out. Like, it's that kind of thing, and I think that's.
I don't want to be crushed by a giant alien. Self-preservation. It could be that also.
Well, also it's Cap, and I think he's probably in the MCU, probably without any sort of augmentation as far as like a suit or a gun or whatever. He's probably the strongest hero in their pantheon. He's like the Superman of. I mean, I guess you could take Vision and say, well, Vision's probably more powerful because of the stone, but as we've seen in the trailer,
no, I don't mind. I don't mind Cap, Vision, or whatever else. They have superpowers. That won't be my issue. It'll be the non-superhero powers going against somebody of Hulk level strength. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. I don't really care the different levels.
These are issues.
You can't have human characters somehow fighting him and then wounding him. Like, that won't make any sense to me whatsoever.
I don't think that you're going to have to worry about it.
Okay, all right. Because
I think that you should probably trust the Russos, as are always licking in their cracks. All of a sudden, you want to act like they don't know what they're serving you, vanilla or chocolate. You're getting chocolate up their asses.
Okay, all right. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be something where Falcon or Black Widow team up and somehow they're taking down some sort of super being that has the power of the sun. And then I'm just going to look at you and you'll be like this. Well, Anthony Mackie has robot wings and guns. I'm going to be like this. Okay. All right.
I don't understand why you try to find things to not like about the movie before you even see the movie. Like, you've seen the Russos. They've become your favorite directors of the MCU. They're not even that particularly a favorite of mine. And they've served you what you've been craving from all these other movies like twice now. And now you want to look at them and go, I don't know if these bitches know what the fuck they're doing. You think Kevin Feige's playing around? They've got like $1 billion on the line with this shit.
Bill, this is the world we live in 2018. I'm a product of it, okay? I fell into the radioactive negativity, and it's come out like this. It's the abomination, of course.
You fell into
You're
like
like
the
this.
Joker.
They've given you everything that you wanted in movies the past several times, correct? And I'm like, yes. But this time, I don't know. But why do you say you don't know? I don't know. I've created some sort of other thing in my head. I saw some negative stuff out there, and I'm going with it. I'm going with the negative because it's so easy, Bill. It's so
I know.
easy to
That's
dip
the
your
thing,
toe.
Jay. It's so easy. But listen, if you go see the movie with me on Friday and you come out going, I have this and this and this problem after you've seen the movie, then perfectly fine for you to say, you know what, it just didn't work for me. Okay, so be it. But here we are. You've seen a 30-second trailer in a movie that's over 2.5 hours long, and it's only part one of a two-part epic saga, and you want to be like this. Well, Cap's stripes were crooked on his pants. I can tell because I compared it to the shot and the scene in the trailer, and it just looks different, Bill.
Yeah. Give me the voice. What does he say? What does Thanos say? Dread it.
Run
Run
from
from
it.
it.
Yeah,
You don't know the rest of the line?
I don't know the rest of it.
Dread.
I've tried to expunge all of that shit from my brain.
Oh, what are you trying to be a virgin for the movie?
I am.
Honestly,
I'm trying to go in with my sphincter intact.
that's just so nasty. It's so nasty.
Because when Thanos shoves that big golden glove up my ass,
Okay.
it's gonna
All
be a
right.
whole new feeling.
So let me get this straight here. You really think you're able to stop the deluge of information regarding this movie over the next 4 days from coming through
Well,
on your Twitter or your tablet or something
tomorrow,
else?
here's the thing. Tomorrow night is the premiere. Shortly after the premiere, like at 1:30 in the morning, the embargo breaks for social media reviews. Now, on my Twitter, I've blocked every permutation of the word Infinity, Captain America, Thor, Thanos, The Glove, Gauntlet, Marvel, Cinematic Universe, movies. I put like 75 words in my Twitter block, muting. Okay. Hashtag all of the above. So I think I'm okay on the social media front. Then the actual reviews drop, I think, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's
Okay.
when I'm shutting it all down. I'm shutting it all down. There'll be no internet for me until Friday.
What do you mean no internet?
That means I'm turning off the net. I'm removing Twitter's app off my phone. I'm going to stay off the net for
What the
3
fuck
days.
is wrong with you? What type of crazy talk is that? You got to stay connected to the world. It's like unhooking from the Matrix. What type of nonsense is that?
Well, I have a
You
busy
know
week
what's
coming
going
up
on
at
in the
work.
world? You have any? I mean, they're shooting people down at the Waffle House. Naked people are running in and shooting people at the Waffle House. You need to stay connected.
I love the way you say naked. Naked. You're a naked ass
That,
bitch running through the street shooting people at the Waffle House.
that's the Youngstown in me. There's many a words when I say with Chris that
Uh-huh.
I'll say something
And she
and
like,
then
really?
she'll correct me and she she'll and I'll be like this. That's the way we say it back in my town.
Naked. You's a naked ass hoe. Um, anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to go
that,
in
that's crazy talk. That's crazy
unscathed.
talk.
It's only 3 days. I think I can make 3 days. And plus, it's really only 2 days. Well, it's Tuesday night, the reviews drop. So Tuesday night to Wednesday night to Thursday night. It's really like 2.5 days.
Have you? It's so funny. Like there's this place up here where you go where you can't really get a Wi-Fi signal or whatever else, some sort of internet. It's like a retreat place
Mhm.
that Chris took me to. And of course, the first question I always ask is like, do they have like Wi-Fi access? Do I need to be able to get on the internet? And she's just like, well, you can stay off the internet for a few days and just relax and disconnect from everything. And I'm like, hmm. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
listen, it's not something I want to do, but honestly, like for the first time, even after the movie comes out, I really think I'm not gonna be pursuing like reviews to like read other people's opinions of the movies. Like I think I'm to a point where I just really don't care anymore. Like I used to love to go to like Ain't It Cool. Of course, that site's just about dead anyway now, and like see what the geeks would say about the movie after we see the movie. I just don't know if there's really anybody's opinion that I really care about that much on the internet anymore. Like I just it all becomes like sort of redundant noise. Like I mean, I'll probably go to Reddit and probably just to see like put my finger on like what people are thinking or how it's doing,
Yes, because
financially.
Reddit is a good spot for that.
Well, it's better. It's actually better than the talkbacks. I mean, it's it is the internet's homepage. Um, So, I mean, I think I will do that, but I just don't think I'm gonna like bookmark like a bunch of reviews and stuff like I used to do. I think I'm kind of over it.
There's no way in hell I'm shutting down the internet. I'm gonna sit
Well, then
there.
be prepared to get fucking spoiled. I mean, it's the most fucking anticipated movie of the year. People are gonna put shit in the headlines just so they can say they put it
But
out there on their site.
what if it's positive? This is we always get into this discussion or this argument. What's the problem if it's positive?
Because the
Is there
positive
any,
reviews,
wait? Is there any harm in sitting there going like this? You know what? I don't want to know anything about the movie, but all of a sudden something comes out and goes, movie is getting rave reviews, positive ratings all around. People love, thumbs up from everyone. That's all you hear. Is there anything wrong with hearing something positive? You
are
act
you
like hearing
asking
something
me in
positive one way or another.
are you asking me in my opinion or are you asking me in general thought?
No, I'm asking you in your opinion. That's all I care about.
Yes, in my opinion, it is harmful for myself, even if it
Why?
is positive, because that sets also expectations that, like, for example, people who thought Black Panther was all the fucking rage. I saw the movie and didn't, no, it wasn't that I was turned off by the praise of it, but I did find it to be irritating that, it got like, universal praise when I saw a whole lot of flaws in the movie. And so I don't really want it to taint me one way or the other to say, because sometimes when people give overpraise to shit, it turns me off to a level where I don't want to like it because I'm sick of people fucking shoving it down my face.
That reminds me, Superfan Melissa, she listened to the last podcast and she said it was very clear that you were dodging all Black Panther discussion. Every time I kept saying like this Black Panther's breaking records, you're just like this. I'm sorry, my mic cut out. We can go on to the next subject. You were throwing a lot of haterade over the
No,
Black
listen,
Panther's
I
film.
don't hate Black Panther. It comes out on May 15th. Of the two of us on this podcast, who's going to be one to lay down their $22.99 at Target on the day it comes out?
Bill,
Me.
I can't
Thank you.
afford to buy Black Panther. Okay, I'm strapped for
Whatever.
cash all around.
Whatever. Put it in your Netflix queue. You're not going to do that either. So, whatever.
You're right. I won't. No
Okay.
chance.
So, my point is, I don't hate on the movie. I don't love the movie. I can't help that. That's just how I feel. I think it's overrated. I think it's a serviceable chapter in the MCU, but nothing much more than that for me. It's along Iron Man level quality for me. And
So the fear
as you
that
know,
the positive feedback, general positive feedback, sets expectations within yourself, and so you rather just kind of just go in without knowing much because that way there's no expectation bars. Don't you
right,
have an expectation that this is going to be somewhat better than the previous Avengers movies? Isn't that
I do.
automatic?
I do, but I would prefer to have that opinion formed on its own than have my opinion somehow influenced or somehow tainted by the internet going,
Oh,
it's the greatest thing since Superman 1. Wonder Woman and Black Panther look like fucking episodes of Night Court compared to the Marvel's capstone of all films ever. I just don't need to hear it. It's
you're
I don't
so
need the fucking hype. I'm already hyped for the movie
you're so
internally.
weak. You're
I don't
so
need
weak.
external hype.
What are you? Yeah, the Russian trolls are sending you stuff right now saying Avengers thing. You're like this. I'm influenced by it. I'm so influenced.
No, what I'm
So
saying is, I told you, I think I'm sort of oversaturated with the hype for this movie anyway, and it sort of turned me off a little bit. And so, in order to preserve my excitement and anticipation for the movie, I need to sort of step back from like my personal obsession with this movie for like the last year. Again, it's nobody else's fault that I've been fucking watching the trailers on a fucking constant loop on a daily basis for 12 months. That's my own fault. And I burn myself out. But, you know, while I still have time, I'm trying to sort of step away from it and be like, you know what? Let's just let it be what it is. It'll be here soon enough. You know, I can watch these other movies in the Marvel verse to sort of get that taste and remind myself of what the storyline is up to this point. But other than that, I'm not going to be looking at all the freaking posters and all the freaking articles and interviews and people's breakdowns of like the MCU. I'm just taking a minute to say, let's just chillax and wait for the movie and enjoy it when it comes, hopefully. I think I need to do that for me just to sort of quell my sort of like over anticipation. Because again, if I'm overexcited for it, then I'm going to go in and be like, well, I mean, I don't know if it was worth like my nightly obsession for the last 12 months good, but it was good. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Bill, dread it, run from it. You can't get away from fucking Thanos' motivation in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. All it can do if I sort of like don't have as many expectations, all it can do is delight and surprise me. If I go in and sort of and I would suggest maybe thinking, and I'm not telling you how to.
We haven't said what the motivation is for our fans out there. The motivation for Thanos the Mad Titan is.
Oh, well, I mean, this is, you know, backstory, I guess. They've written a novel about it instead of putting it in the movie, which is a whole other discussion. But I guess it's something to do with him, his planet sort of imploding because they used up all the resources on their planet and had overpopulation. And so I guess he tried to warn the people like Kal-El or Jor-El on Krypton, and nobody listened to him, so the world just got destroyed. So because he doesn't necessarily want to see that happen to the rest of the universe, he goes about quelling, you know, the population overgrowth by destroying half of the populations of planets all over the universe, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, that's the gist of it, I guess. I don't know how this will play out in the actual movie.
Yes.
Maybe it's all
bukkake.
I don't know. Bukkake, that's actually not the word I was looking for.
Wow. You're just really off the chain. You're just really off the chain.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Listen. Again, this is stuff. See, I kind of wish I didn't know any of this. But now that I do, maybe I can say, well, you know, maybe my expectations for his motivations are off. Like, you know, a little too high, and so I should sort of lower them and get them more into like realistically, this is how they tried to explain this. I don't know. For me, I want to take a wait and see attitude about it.
Okay. Well, if you're asking me my excitement on the movie, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see the Black Order in the film. Thanos' henchmen.
Now, why are you excited for them? Are you familiar with them from the books?
I read only one book, multiple books of a series, like a spinoff with the Black Order. It was just a side storyline. And it's not so much like, oh, yeah, it's a Black Order. They're so cool. I want to. It's just the idea that you rarely get to see. This is the Black Order is what I would hope that the Inhumans would have been in this whole thing. Like you actually see them well done, movie version quality. And, you know, we're not there at that point. But this is what the Black Order represents to me. I know that they're going to do Captain America, they're going to do Thor and Hulk, but now you actually get to see other side characters, and hopefully they do them justice because the Black Order is like a badass. They're like the Navy SEALs of Thanos. And so I hope that they give them some sort of treatment instead of just make them some sort of just like robots that get destroyed very easily. Like, oh, they just got beat up very quickly.
You're just so weird. Like, of all the fucking characters that are going to be in this movie, I mean, every basically hero from every Marvel movie, the ones you really want to see fleshed out are the fucking bad guys.
It's not even so much fleshed out. It's like the Boba Fett thing. It's the Boba Fett syndrome. These characters are fucking cool. You don't need them to sit there and know all their stories, how they grew up, or sit around a dinner table and interact. They're just fucking cool. And so that's why you're getting a Boba Fett movie. I mean, this is what the Black Order is. They're cool. Yes.
I think there's something broken with your head. I don't know. I feel like the evil is always trying to find like a crack in your armor, just to like spew itself forth into the universe. I feel like you're like a hard tunnel of like a volcano that's like crusted over, but like every once in a while there's like some kind of like lava flow that crack that like creeps out and spews like evil into your atmosphere. And you try to like keep it down, but every so often it just bursts forward.
I'm rewatching Dexter as we speak.
Really.
All right, Bill. What else we got here?
Yeah, right now I'm like in a holding pattern. I'm like in a this is going to be a long week to get to Thursday. Of course, we're not even seeing it until Friday. But you've got like a big week coming ahead for you, so you'll be busy doing shit, like settling in and all that.
Yeah.
So you probably won't feel it as much as me because it'll be like you're busy.
There's an article on Yahoo saying who's going to die in Avengers Infinity War.
This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I'm shutting goddamn internet off. This is why. This is why. Because I don't want to hear all this speculation.
War Machine's getting 4-1 odds.
Listen, if you're asking me if I had to pick one of the heroes to go, and for my own private reasons, I'm just going to say I wouldn't see War Machine as a definite no-go for me.
I think if anybody's listened to all 65 episodes, they wouldn't find that to be a shocker to you.
Okay.
See, this is like Walking Dead advertisement for me. Like, you kind of put out there that we're going to kill. This is what I've said about The Walking Dead for this whole time. Like, the storyline doesn't push the show anymore. Now it's going to be like, guess who we're going to kill next? Because that's the draw, is killing off major characters, because that makes it more real. And so by saying that we're going to be killing off the Avengers, it makes it even more important because, this never happens.
Wouldn't it be a hoot if they don't kill off anybody?
What's that?
Wouldn't it be a hoot if after all the speculation and everyone going 4-1 odds on so-and-so, 6-1 odds on blah, 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 if nobody ends up dying?
Yes. I just probably look at it and see who didn't sign a contract extension and then put my money down on that one.
Right, but you never know. There are also secret contract extensions that maybe we're just not privy to.
Yeah, what's the deal with Hawkeye? He's not in any of the advertising, is he?
Yes, he is not. And Russos have come out and said there's a specific reason for that, and you'll have to wait to see the movie as to why. I appreciate
because he dies within the first 5 minutes of the movie? That would make me very happy.
Wow, really? I mean, I don't know why you have to hate on Hawkeye just because he's a fucking ordinary person and doesn't have superpowers. I mean, sometimes not all heroes.
Do we really have to deal with this? That Hawkeye represents the heart of the group, the common man coming and fighting the battles without superpowers. Do we really have to go over this?
Is that like a bad thing?
Yeah. What is he, like the Care Bear of heart? I don't need that nonsense. Okay, I need when Thanos rolls down with the Infinity Glove and is starting to kill people, I need the people with powers to step up and put him down. I don't need Hawkeye to come out and start singing Kumbaya. Okay, I don't need that. Don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it. Don't want it, Bill.
Okay. I like Hawkeye, and the more I've reviewed these films that he's in, the more I appreciate him. I do like that he is sort of like, the average everyday guy who has like a family and kids, and it makes it relatable to a certain segment of the audience who, like it or not, some people find these movies to be unappealing because there's no one for them to sort of attach or relate to, because everybody in there is like a god or some kind of multimillionaire or some kind of superpowered serum taker, whatever.
It's supposed to be wish fulfillment and imagination. If I want to watch and admire a common man, I'll turn on regular sitcom television. This is why we're watching
out of 6 or 8 main characters or whatever, that having one in there or two in there that aren't necessarily, the superest of all superheroes is like the worst thing ever. I think it's okay. And, I don't suspect that he will be long for the world. I do suspect, he would probably be on, as they say on RuPaul's Drag Race, ready to Shantae away.
Ooh, yes, yes, Bill. Death. Thanos is bringing death.
Really. Hawkeye, it is time for you to lip sync for your life. So, you know what? I think you and your girlfriend should, I know you guys don't have a whole lot of shows that you watch together. I think RuPaul's Drag Race would be a good one for you guys to get into. Now, before you say anything, you should know that it is the highest rated show in the network's history of VH1. It has like quadrupled its audience since it went from the logo gay TV channel to VH1. It has massive crossover appeal, and it's not just for gays or cross-dressers or drag queens. And it's a light, frothy, entertaining hour of TV. Just putting it out there.
I don't watch any of these type of gay-centric offshoot shows of yours. Sure. I find it's designed to indoctrinate the hetero man, and I refuse to be indoctrinated by such filth.
So what is your excuse for your obsession with 600-Pound Life and Dr. Pimple Popper? Are they trying to indoctrinate you into fucking pimple popping? Or make you eat like 6 dozen brownies at a sitting? Is that what the indoctrination of those shows is, really?
Yeah, we won't be trying out that. We won't be trying out.
I'll tell you, when I tried to watch 600-Pound Life, in fact, it was a motivation for me having my surgery in the first place, because I'll tell you exactly the episode that I said, oh, that's it. I'm calling the doctor tomorrow.
What's the episode?
That was when the lady was sitting on the toilet and she had like, what do you call it? One of those bath scrubber brushes with the long handles on it. And she was sticking it in her kneecap to like scrub in the fat rolls on her knee. And like the whole handle like went into her leg until it like disappeared. You couldn't see it. I was like, that's it. That's it. That's it. I'm not going out like that. But that also gave me like nightmares. Like I can't watch that show. I can't. And I don't even understand the whole idea of pimple popping. I mean, I get pimple popping like as a thing people do, because like, people do that. But making a show out of it, like how many pimples could a person possibly have that they need to make an hour-long show out of it?
No, these people have like steroid pimples, not like just your average pimples.
I'm sorry, like, what pimples?
Steroid pimples.
Is that pimples on steroids?
Yeah, they're like extra large.
Oh my God!
You might not know what they are. Yeah, something that they have to like drain. Like,
does this not make you lose your lunch when you're fucking trying to watch something to eat your dinner at the same time?
Oh yeah, like I have to turn my head away from it. My woman's eyeballs are wide, and she's just like, "Ooh, look at that."
Well, because she's a nurse, she's into that kind of like bodily fluid draining shit. They all like that. My husband likes the same thing. I mean, it's nasty, but that's what medical professional people do.
But for my wife looks at my veins sometimes. You'll catch her looking over, and she's just like, "Oh, look at that vein." She goes, "I can really get some blood out of that thing."
I mean, it's like Vampirella. What the fuck? She's probably looking at your like carotid artery, going, "Hey, babe, want to do some face sucking?"
I mean, technically, if sometimes when I see her doing stuff like that, I feel like I just want to start taking pictures of like people with really good veins and put them in a booklet and just try to market to nurses or something to see if I can, sort of like, oh, yeah.
It's like medical porn. Okay,
we can explore it. Anyway, so where did we get sidetracked?
Who the hell knows? We were discussing Infinity War and anticipation and
TV shows. Who's going to be killed off? Do you want anybody to be killed off on the show? Really not part and parcel?
I really don't care if I see War Machine ever again.
Who?
I mean, yes.
Oh, War Machine.
And I'll be honest with you, that whatever they've done to Scarlett Johansson with the blonde hair and the blonde eyebrows, I mean, she was actually hot, and I'm saying that as a gay guy in Iron Man 2 with the curly red hair.
The red
And
hair.
slowly but surely, they have fucking uglied her up over the last several movies to the point where now she's just fucking hideous.
Yeah, she was hot with the red hair back in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing to her, but it's not doing her any favors.
All right. So what's the thing on the big three? Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. Are they all coming back? Or are we moving on from them?
Well, Thor's done with his contract, as Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth has already said. He's there's really no, and they're not thinking of a Thor 4 at this point. Chris Evans has already said he's done with his contract. And I believe Robert Downey Jr. has got all the money they have left to give. So I don't know why he would need to come back for anything.
Oh, that's so fascinating, Bill. That's so fascinating. I mean, this
So-
is going to be very curious because this comes. I mean, you talk about having all the luck in the world right now, born under the right sun. I mean, literally at this point in time, they're ending these movies right at the point, and they're starting another phase when Disney picks up. What is it? Fox, what characters are they getting? They're getting all the X-Men characters.
X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic
Yeah.
Four.
All of a sudden, all these characters come into view. So
Yeah, it's almost like
and
they
another one
knew.
door.
It's almost like they knew this was going to happen, and they sort of planned it in advance,
And-
huh?
Yeah, well, these clearly these fuckers aren't playing checkers. I mean, they're playing chess because it just seems you're losing the big three, arguably, and now all of a sudden you have a whole pantheon of other superheroes that come in and create more stories on it.
Well, the rumor this week that I read also is that they're preparing. First, we know that they've delayed Dark Phoenix. Secondly, the rumor is that the studio is not at all happy with how the movies turned out, which is why they're delaying it so they can do reshoots.
No shit, it's Kingberg. Isn't it the first movie that he's?
This is his first directing. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Here's the thing, Jay. Whether the movie was fantastic and hit it out of the park, or whether it's a piece of fucking sloppy wet toilet paper out of somebody else's ass crack, okay? Whether it's either one of those things, the X-Men are done at Fox. And so the most I want from this is that they give a capper to the entire Fox pantheon of X-Men movies with Dark Phoenix, and that they give us some payoff for this last trilogy that we've gone through with the rebooting of the younger characters.
Well, if you want that, then they should have gave it to a competent director, okay? If you just want somebody to just throw some slop up there to end it for you, then you've got the guy.
Well, since he's never directed anything, I think you're jumping the gun to say he's an incompetent director. He might not be the writer that you like.
His writing. His writing is terrible, Bill, and so I have no faith in him that somehow his directing is going to be much better.
Well, let's talk about the last thing he wrote. I mean, before, if you want to say Apocalypse wasn't your speed, fine. But X-Men, the reboot, is a movie we both enjoyed. But have you forgotten that already?
Which X-Men movie?
I'm sorry, Fantastic Four. The reboot.
Yeah. Actually, I like that, but that's in the hands of a competent director. I'm not saying he can add some sort of things to it, but let's just say for the most part, he's just a shill. He's just the everyman, fucking just like me write some basic bullshit, cookie cutter crap. That's what he's writing. There's no depth to what he's doing. Maybe when we pair him with like some sort of intelligent, generational talent, like maybe Bryan Singer, then you can mask some of his what do you call it? His negatives.
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree about your opinions on Kinberg. I like Fantastic Four, the reboot, a lot. I wished it was a universe that we had been able to see more of. That being said, Apocalypse wasn't the best of the X-Men trilogy continuations, but he's had his hands in everything from Last Stand to First Class to Days of Future Past, which are some of, and considered to be some of the best of the X-Men franchise. So I'm not willing to write him off whole cloth and say he's a no-talent hack at this point. I am willing to say I hope that it's better than Apocalypse. I hope it puts a cap on these characters that we've grown with over the last few movies. But either way it goes, we're looking at this being the last Fox X-Men movie.
You know what would be a real capper if they actually did some shit that was like sort of like Logan-esque or badass. That would be a capper. You got nothing to lose at this point. You're turning it over. This is the part where you were telling me to take risk. If this movie doesn't take any risk, I'm going to look at it as a failure in of itself. I mean, because there's no reason why you wouldn't.
Well, it started out as trying to
with Logan, where you told me going like this, Logan, they're not doing another Hugh Jackman movie. There's not going to be another Logan. So they can take these risks that normally they wouldn't do for a general, audience film. This is the time to do it, don't you think?
I do. I also think this is Kinberg's apology tour in a way for what is considered to be the weakest of the original X-Men films by many people, which is Last Stand. I think he wants to correct what people consider to be wrongs, or at least that's what he says. Now, that's the same thing Bryan Singer said about what they did.
About Apocalypse? Does he feel any shame about that?
Well, again, this is the same thing Bryan Singer said that they wanted to correct with Apocalypse about their portrayal of Storm and Angel in The Last Stand or in the other X-Men movies, and we see how that turned out. So, I guess some of it is take it with a grain of salt, and some of it is believe it when you see it. But as a person who did not hate Apocalypse, I found quite a lot of it that I liked. Again, it's not my favorite, but it's not, I don't think it's a bastard stepchild of the X-Men movie verse.
I find that you're invited to all the Marvel and DC parties because they love you.
Simon, I mean, this is just how I feel.
I know. That's why you're invited to all the parties. I'm not invited. I don't have any tickets. I don't have any tickets to anywhere. They don't want me showing up.
Oh no, they loved you at the Logan party. They thought you were the shizniz at the Logan party. And I don't recall you actually dissing too much about Days of Future Past either. Or First Class, which I think we both thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. See, I'm aware that Kinberg has his fingers in a lot of pies and that he's there. But I find, for the most part, these buttresses, say the word for me.
Buttress.
Buttresses by some other talented individuals.
He's buttressed? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can do things, but I think you almost have to kind of like rein him in or expand or lessen his stuff. I don't necessarily know enough to trust him on his own. And if I'm going by the last thing of Apocalypse, which was terrible, that's a type of movie you asked me is sort of like the Mummy of the Dark Universe. It's an ender. Like that ends your universe before it even starts. And that's what Apocalypse was for me. I would have never given him the third movie to make after Apocalypse. So I don't know what type of videos he has on people or whatever else, but he would have been the last person I would have included in that.
I'm sorry, but the opening scene of Apocalypse alone stands to me as one of the best opening scenes of any of the X-Men movies of all. That whole thing where they're going into the pyramids and they're, Apocalypse is being awoken. That shit was like balls to the wall, superheroic action stuff. Now, you can say what you want about the rest of the movie, but that scene alone.
That was directed by Bryan Singer, no?
I don't know who it was directed by. I mean, I believe the whole movie was directed by Bryan Singer, actually, but yeah.
So that's Bryan Singer directing that here. Okay. That's Kinberg is not Bryan Singer. If he was, he would have directed a movie several decades ago here. Okay, he's not.
Well, so, Bryan Singer was busy.
Now that this movie franchise is dying, they're going to give him a shot. So good luck on that.
I also, some of these things just seem like too much of a coincidence for me. I mean, you have Marvel and Kevin Feige with this long-term 10-year plan. Just so happens to be ready to reboot at the exact time that Disney acquires Fox as a studio and is ready to bring the other movies back into the fold of the MCU right at the exact right moment. At the same time, you have the Inhumans, which is basically dumped on ABC, which was supposed to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, but Marvel didn't really pay any attention to it or give it any kind of real budget or any kind of like promotion whatsoever. at the exact same time that X-Men are coming back into the MCU. It all seems like, because the X-Men are basically considered to be sort of like the poor man's substitute. I mean, the Inhumans are basically considered to be like the poor man's substitute for the X-Men anyway. So they dump that so they can get rid of that. And then they acquire it all just seems like too coinky dinky ish.
Okay.
Like it seems like they knew they were going to get the X-Men back, so they dumped the fucking Inhumans because they announced it and they had to do something with it. But they needed to get rid of it because they don't want to have the Inhumans running around the same time that they have the X-Men, because that's just going to confuse everybody because they're basically the same fucking types of characters. I don't know. I as somebody who doesn't usually buy into these kinds of machination conspiracy theories, it all just seems so very tidy to me. And as somebody who also enjoyed the Inhumans show, like me and 3 other people on the fucking planet, I feel like the show was sort of unceremoniously cast aside by the Marvel people. So.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Boo. Boo!
You didn't even watch episode 1 of the Inhumans. You have no idea what you're saying.
I don't. I think I watched some extended cuts, but
I mean, I went to the IMAX. I don't even go to the IMAX theaters. I went to IMAX theaters to see the pilot.
I should base my sitcom watching or TV show watching on whether or not it gets a second season. Because if it doesn't even get a second season, then that says a lot now.
Right? That's the approach I'm taking with that show, that new show Rise on NBC. It's sort of like the high school theater version of Glee. Instead of like a Glee club, it's a theater. Now listen, as you know, in high school, theater was like one of the things that actually saved my hide from like going insane in high school. And so it has a natural appeal to me. But I'm tired of investing in TV shows that become canceled by the end of the 7 episodes. So I am taking that sort of like, you know what? I'm going to wait and see if it gets renewed. If it gets renewed, then we'll watch it over the summer and catch up, next season. Part of it also, though, is like, it's sort of like the Friday Night Lights it's sort of like Glee without the fun or the camp. And so it kind of feels like it's like a musical show without any of the fun. And why do I want to see that?
Oh.
So.
Maybe it's trying to play towards another group, like the unfun group, the people who are like, bah, humbug.
Listen, ain't nobody got time. If I can't sing along or watch some fucking cartoons in your movie or see some superpowers, I'll just play with my phone. It's fine. It's fine. Speaking of which, we didn't discuss the Incredibles 2 trailer, which I actually loved. And
how can you not love the Incredibles 2?
Oh, I know. But you know what? I feel like
they're such a fun family.
I read an article this week that the directors have come out and said, it actually was made before the whole Me Too movement, which, I mean, it took them 14 fucking years to make the sequel. So I'm not going to say that they, don't have the right to they didn't take their time and do the story right, whatever. But it does sort of, I'm kind of getting hit over the head again with this Me Too shit. And I don't necessarily want it in my Disney Pixar animated superhero movies. So I'm hoping it doesn't play too timely, because I'm over it.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that Elastigirl has to stay home and raise the kid?
No, I'm saying the whole idea
we can't have a storyline where she goes out and does something because, if she does do that, then of course we're just doing some sort of liberal agenda, because that doesn't happen.
You don't think it feels like it's just a little bit playing towards like the current political environment that they have the father staying home playing with the mom?
Watch the movie. I go in and watch the movie because I can know that happens all the time. What, the guy stays home sometimes, the woman goes out to work, the woman stays home? I mean, what? Just because the script is flipped somehow, that's somehow timely. Doesn't that happen?
Why don't they just hit me over the head with the hammer?
Don't you have both adults working now?
Why don't they just hit me over the head with the hammer in the shape of the letters METOO?
I don't know.
Bam, 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 bam. Got it. I got it. Me too. Got it.
I don't know. I don't know how you're acting like somehow if they have Elastigirl going out and him staying home and working is somehow like some sort of like 1955s. They're just breaking all sorts of taboos. I mean, it's 2018, Bill. I mean, for fuck's sake.
I understand, Jay, but amongst the current political climate where you have everybody suddenly remembering 20 years later that they got felt up in grade school by, their coach or something. Listen, I'm not advocating for abuse of anybody. I'm saying
Are you telling me you can't watch The Incredibles 2 in some sort of just general lens without feeling like somehow they're forcing
I'm
some
telling you the
political
impression that I get from watching the trailer is that it is very politically convenient in our current times, and I kind of wish it was a story that didn't involve any current political movements because it's supposed to be timeless. And I don't need social fucking justice warriors in my Disney Pixar. I'm sorry.
How is it not timely? You didn't even know the full story. What happens? He was working in insurance. That was the first movie. He was working in insurance, trying to hold on to his crappy job. Is it a stretch if you had a part two movie that he might not have a job? Is it possible? Because
It's
she was at stay at home mom in the first movie, and he was at a crappy insurance job. So you're telling me that maybe is it possible that in the second movie he gets fired because he was doing shit wrong in the first movie by giving people the Form 92s so they could file proper insurance claim and get paid and was getting yelled at by his boss? Is it a stretch that he might get fired from his job and that his woman has to go out and make money? I mean, you're acting like somehow it's just so completely ridiculous that Elastigirl would be out there
no,
working.
it's not ridiculous. With the
What?
ridiculous part,
What's the problem? Why does it have to be
the
me?
problem is that it's a little too on the nose in our current political climate. I'm saying if this storyline would have happened in any time in the last 14 fucking years that they had to make this sequel, I don't think this would have been an issue for me. But the fact that it's happening right now in the middle of our politically Me Too yapapap, I feel like it's a little too convenient and it's a little too on the nose.
I'll tell you what. You wouldn't have to worry about Me Too if your friends out there, allegedly like John Lasseter, weren't sitting there masturbating in hallways in front of people. Okay, maybe you wouldn't have to worry about that. Why don't you tell the people to zip it up, and then you won't have to deal with this? I don't know I don't know why it's the fault of everyone else. These are the ones that are in control of their penises. I mean, come on. How often are you going to work, bringing out your ding-a-ling in front of body, waving it around and in front of everybody?
Listen, let's not get personal. But I'm just saying, here's the thing. Like I said, it's not the story, it's the confluence of the story and the real world and the shit that's happening now that I feel like it's just too much for me. And everywhere I turn, I have to hear it on the news, on my Twitter feed. It's calmed down a little bit lately, thank God, because for a little while there, it was like everybody was suddenly remembering like some childhood suppressed memory of being raped. Okay. I mean, it's like, again, so I'm not advocating for abuse of anyone.
When does this end for you? If we do a Black Widow movie, are we going to be doing episode 73? And you're saying to me the only reason why we got a Black Widow movie is because of Me Too? Is that what we're going to be saying?
No. Here, since you brought up Black Widow, let me mention
Wonder Woman 2 is because it's Me Too. And
since you brought up Black Widow, and I was just watching Avengers: Age of Ultron, let's bring up this particular issue where there was a whole lot of fan complaining and bitching and moaning over the romance between Black Widow and Bruce Banner in Age of Ultron, because there's a scene in the movie where he tells her they can't be together because basically his penis grows to be like the size of like somebody's arm, and if he turns while he's inside of her, he's going to rip her stuff to shreds, and that's just not advisable. Okay. And she says, well, I've got my problems too, because when I went to the academy, they sterilized us and made us not be able to have babies because it made us not have emotional attachments and it made us better agents, whatever. Everybody was up in arms. Oh my God, how horrible is this? That Bruce is not good enough for her because, he's an abuser, and he's like telling her, oh, I can't be with you because I might physically abuse you if I turn into the Hulk or whatever. I mean, it's just like, you know what? Give me a break. It's not about that. It's about two fucking people who've gone through some shit in their lives and are broken, trying to fucking find a place of solace where they can be together and make something better than being on their own. Okay? Not everything has to be about, you know, abuse or, taking it. I mean, it's not, it's just, why does it always have to come back to that? Why does it always have to be like, oh, everything's just not equal in our society? Blah, blah, blah. God, sometimes I just get sick of it.
I know. I know. It's going to be tough when they nominate Anthony Mackie for a Oscar for his role in Infinity War. You're going to look at me. The only reason why we're here is because this is a continuation of Black Lives Matter. When does this end for you? I just want to know when it ends. Is there a time frame?
It ends for me when I get to go see a movie that doesn't feel like it's some answer or some kind of social statement about what the world that we live in is about. All I really want to do, and I'm not saying that there's not a place for it, but I don't know if in my superhero movie or my animated movies or my fucking musicals in which I just want to see a bunch of people dancing around and singing their fucking hearts out, that I need to hear about somebody getting touched in a bad place when they were 10. I just don't need it.
I'm just so glad. I'm glad you're not in charge of the studios. I'm just glad you're in charge. Oh,
I'm just saying. I mean, these are places where I go to forget about these terrible things that are happening in the world. And I'm not saying that there isn't a place for this conversation to be had. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be out there for people to discuss in group therapy sessions or on Twitter, whatever, if you don't hashtag block the Me Too movement like I have. Oops, did I say that out loud? But does it have to be in every freaking corner of every piece of entertainment of any kind that there has to be some kind of like political statement made? I mean, I don't know. I again,
you don't have a problem with the female Jedi Daisy Ridley.
I don't, because it's really about Rey's character. And if you recall, when we first saw The Force Awakens, I did say I didn't particularly know if I needed to see a girl being the lead in my Star Wars movie. Rey turned me around on that because it became more about her as a character, and it became more about me loving her.
What's the problem with the master girl getting a job? You just can't accept that and just deal with it at that point in time, or no?
Well, as you're always telling me, listen, maybe the movie will turn me around on this, but the 2 minutes I've seen, that stuck in my craw. I enjoyed the trailer, but I felt like they were shoving some kind of agenda down my throat a little bit, and I don't like that.
Do you have a problem? What? Aren't you strong of self? You
sure.
Just
I can withstand it, but I don't know why I have to. I'm just here to see a fucking animated movie. I gotta sit here and listen to this political agenda while I'm just trying to watch this movie. I'm not saying again that it's not really about Elastigirl being the one to be the breadwinner all of a sudden. It's about the confluence of that particular story hitting at this particular time. It's the same reason why I don't want to see Coco. I mean, it maybe in another year it would have been, just a movie featuring some Mexican people that featured their heritage, and it would have been enjoyable to me. But in the middle of all this Trump building a wall shit, I feel like it's some kind of statement, and I don't need it.
You don't want a statement of positivity? I mean, these movies in itself, aren't they all positive?
Sure. And for, maybe for some little Mexican kids who are, worried about getting the wall built and getting separated from their families, that's for them.
I don't really know if it's a story about a wall being built in Coco, but I mean,
listen. I'm digging a hole that is so deep. I am never going to get out of it.
Is it part of the fact is that you just can't enjoy the positive things from the movie? You're like the old crabby man. I mean, you just get in there and enjoy it. It's not like they were coming in there going like this. You know what? I'm glad this is Coco and we're Mexicans and we're allowed to live in the U.S. anywhere we want to and have anchor babies all over the place. That's what we want to do. And then let's add a song to it. You love us and we love you. They're not doing that. Is it just a story? Can't you just enjoy the story? I'm positive of a kid not being able to sing because his grandmother doesn't want him to sing, but then he finds a voice to sing someplace else, and then everybody starts to love his voice and his singing. Is
Why don't you
what's
tell
the
me, Jay,
what's the
what
problem?
you thought of Coco in the 3.5 minutes that you watched it when you rented it from
Oh,
Netflix?
I thought the movie sucked. Sucks.
But it had nothing to do with the subject matter. It was just an
No,
execution, right?
see, for me, I I live and breathe pulling up CNN, MSN, Huffington Post. Now and then I check out what my enemies are doing on Fox. I pull up all this stuff, though. I read it, I let it wash over me, and then I got to take a bath to wash the stink off. That's what I do. I watch it. But when I go to the movies, I don't take any of that shit in there with me. I don't take any of it going like this. The only reason why we have a lead black actor here is because it's Black Lives Matter, and I don't want them doing that. I don't go and watch Coco. I'd be like, the only reason why we're doing Coco is because this is a whole Hispanic positivity trail or whatever else. Or Elastigirl, only reason why she's got a storyline is because there's somebody over there saying it's me too. I don't take any of that into the movies. I'm going, it's a storyline, and I'm going to see where they take it. And then I will judge it on its own merits. But there's so many, every movie has some sort of female doing something in the movie. I don't sit there and go that somehow it's changed because it's Me Too, unless it's some specific movie called Women's Right or Women's Voting. I mean, otherwise, it's just like, what happens? Oh my God, Tomb Raider came out. Why do we have Tomb Raider? It's because it's Me Too. And they're trying to show that women are powerful and that sucks. And they're shoving it down. I don't think of that. I look at it and go, it's an action film. Do I want to see it? It's a female lead. Does she look like she can do the stunts? The writing seems stupid to me. I don't want to see it. Okay, here we go. We're going to be doing another Jack Reacher movie with Tom Cruise. He looks like he's supposed to be playing a character 6'8". He's 5'2". Not interested. I don't think of anything going what's outside of the world. I mean, if they came out with a movie called The Orange Clown, does some stupid shit, then I might think that might be relevant in whatever else. It might influence me in a lot of different ways. But otherwise, I don't take any of that into the movies. Nothing. I don't ever take any of it in there
Well,
whatsoever.
I'm sorry, but it's
So
not
what happens
about.
in Infinity War when they have Black Widow save the day? Are you going to sit there and say the only reason why she saved the day is because it's the Me Too writers wanted the
No,
female?
because Black
I
Widow's
mean,
been in the MCU.
like like whenever it happens because you don't want it to, then it has to be the influence of everything else going on here. I don't ever
No,
think of
because
people.
Black Widow has been in the MCU since the first Avengers movie,
No, no,
if
but they're going
not
to have her
before.
save the
Iron
day.
Man 2.
I said they're going to have her save the day.
She saved the day before. She's been an integral part of the team before. She's been,
But no, no,
fighting right alongside everybody else.
going to wait till all the heroes get destroyed, and she's going to pick up Thor's hammer, and then like knocks Thanos' head off. She's literally going to be the one that like does the final blow. Are you going to look at me and go, I don't know why they made Black Widow the one that did the final blow? I mean, why wasn't it Captain America? The only reason why Captain America didn't do the blow is because it's this Me Too moment. That's why they wanted Black Widow to do it. It's this whole Wonder Woman thing going on.
Well, I mean, all I'm telling you is I just call it like I see it. And some of these things that are happening right now in the culture do feel like they are art imitating life.
Let
And
me tell you,
I don't.
I'm gonna give you something. I know change is scary for you, old man. I want you to know there always will be a place for your white male Captain Americas. Okay, they're not gonna go anywhere. They're they're gonna be there, Bill. I don't want you to be ashamed for the 20 movies that you have with Chris Evans coming out every year. That's not going to change. I just hope you can make room for Don Cheadle and maybe 7 years from now an Anthony Mackie movie.
No,
That's
listen,
all.
I don't have any room for
I
Don Cheadle.
mean,
And if you want me to break it down for you, it's not because he's black. Okay. I have plenty of room for Anthony Mackie because A, he's funny, and
let's be
B,
let's be quite honest here. You've had I don't know how many male superhero centric fucking films. I don't know how many over the decades. Superman, Batman, Spider Man. You've got them all. Multiple movies. And now all of a sudden, if they want to sit there and break out and do one, this is the same thing with Obama. All of a sudden, you get one woman movie, and then you act like the whole world has crashed down upon you, and that there's some sort of tsunami of change. But then you got 15 more male movies coming out. But the one woman movie that comes out, it's somehow you're just thinking like this is the end of times. It's the end.
And what movie are you referring to that I think it's the end of time because of that woman movie came out?
Well, no, I'm just saying this is sort of argument. It's like the Elastigirl. You're acting like at one point they have an Elastigirl doing something that seems to be topical to you, that this some sort of changes everything, and it's just one movie, Bill. It's one movie.
Jay, it's
There's
one movie in a
24
very it's
regular-
one movie in a very beloved franchise that happens to be coming about at a time that there's a movement that seems to be coinciding with the message of the movie. I would prefer for the movie to exist outside of whatever's happening in the world. And that's what I'm saying. It's not about Elastigirl going to be the superhero. That's fine. It's about the confluence of Elastigirl becoming the superhero at a moment when all the women are suddenly remembering they got touched in a bad place 25 years ago.
So we can't do female movies because this is what's happening in the world. So we have to put off Wonder Woman 2 until the Me Too movement dies down. Is that what you're telling me?
No, but maybe in Wonder Woman 2, we can maybe make it a little bit more equal between her and Steve Trevor or whoever the male love interest is. Maybe we can see, there's some listen, I'm digging a hole that I can't get out of here, and I realize this.
What do you mean equal?
I'm just saying, I wish some of this stuff existed outside of the current movement, and I wonder if it wasn't for the movement, if some of these things would be. Like, for example, I love Wonder Woman. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan. I used to run around my house with a towel on my head wearing my mother's blue panties and her fucking boots, okay? I'm as close as a Wonder Woman fan as a gay guy can get.
Sure. I have black friends. Well, go ahead.
Whatever. But I liked Wonder Woman. I didn't think it was all that and a bag of chips.
Okay. All right. Fair. Go ahead.
I find that because of the political movement that we're in, Wonder Woman was made out to be more of a cultural movement than a good movie. And for me, it always comes down to me whether it's the movie speaks on its own. I don't need Wonder Woman to be of the moment for me to love the movie. I just need for it to be the movie. And I feel the same thing about Black Panther. I feel like Black Panther, in some ways, was a touchstone culturally where people were ready to say Black Lives Matter is part of the conversation here also, of course. But people were ready to say, when's it our turn? We want a seat at the table. They got their seat at the table, and people went gaga over it. I feel like it was more about their seat at the table, though, than it was about the quality of the movie. And I would prefer it to be the other way around. I'd prefer for the movie to be so great that, it stands on its own and that people find it outside of the cultural.
Why you really have this opinion is because the merits of the movie you don't feel as strong. But if you felt the movie was as strong as your love for the Justice League, would you then somehow diminish the fact is that the only reason why these other people like the movie is because of the seat at the table, even though I found the movie to be great? You're only saying that is because you didn't find the movie to be great.
That's right. That's my opinion. I could follow it up with that's my opinion every time I say a statement, sure. But it should go unsaid that that's just my personal feel. I'm not saying that's
you find that it's
true.
somewhat skewed
for everyone.
You're the one that finds that Justice League in and of itself is the movie of the year for you. Yes. And Justice League is the one that's ended up just causing the whole universe to go into disarray, and that there's nothing but haterade out there for that.
Not true. That would be Batman versus Superman, but okay.
It made the less money out of all those movies.
Sure.
It's
fair
all
enough.
Disappointment all around. Okay.
Okay.
So the fact is that you somehow find it to be movie of the year. Is it possible that your opinion might be skewed on the matter as to why Black Panther is a success and you don't like it? Because clearly the
Absolutely.
movie that you liked clearly was a disappointing to the masses. And now all of a
Absolutely.
sudden, in the movie that people do love, you have to assume that the
I'm
only reason
agreeing with
why
you.
that the
I'm agreeing
merits
with
of that movie can't be anything because
I'm
they.
agreeing with you. Absolutely, my feelings could be skewed. I have no qualms admitting that, but they're still my feelings, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm
My
not
feelings.
discounting your feelings. I'm questioning. I'm asking you a question
Right.
whether
No, I don't. I'm not saying my feelings are right. I'm not saying that I'm right that the movie is not as good. I'm saying my feeling and my impression of the movie is that it's not as good. That's how I feel about it. Clearly, 40 billion other people on the planet think otherwise. So,
this episode 65, Bill, what I want you to give me, I want you to think about this. I want you to give me a time frame as to when, and I want you to tell me on the episode when we're done with the Me Too movement, so I can judge these female movies on their merits from here on out without you bringing up Me Too again. Because when Captain Marvel comes out and it makes $800 million, when does Captain Marvel come out?
March of next year.
March of next year with Brie Larson. Okay, that'll be a whole nother year from now. When that comes out and it makes $700 million and it gets a whole bunch of awards and being like, people are like, this is really good. It's made more money than Thor Ragnarok. And you come out and you go, Brie Larson looks kind of like what's her name from Twilight. She's just like basic and shit. I just don't see it. Are you going to sit there and tell me a year from now we're still in the Me Too tsunami and that's the only reason why it made 700 million? I'm just trying to gauge this.
If Me Too is still a thing in a year from now, and it's still as omnipresent as it is right now, where you have Bill Cosby being tried for the second time over this woman that he supposedly did something bad to in 1982 and then paid her $3.5 million and then she took him back to court, then yes, I might have an issue. But if it's died down by then and Bill Cosby's either died or been thrown under the jail and we'll never see him again, and people stop coming up with false repressed memories 25 years after something that was done to them, then yeah, maybe I'll be able to take the movie on its own merits and say, you know what? I think this movie was good or bad or different or whatever, but it doesn't have anything to do with anything other than the movie.
All I can say is for our listeners on the show who are with us up to episode 65, I want you to treat this part here like us, like at Thanksgiving dinner where we're all family. And Bill is just that crazy ass fucking uncle down in the corner going like this. I don't give a fuck. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do at my house. If I want to take my shoes off with my holy socks, I'll do that shit. That's right. I pay the bills up in this house. That's how I do. He's the crazy uncle.
I realize my opinions are not for everybody, and I'm not even saying that they are correct in the current society that we live in. They're just I speak from my heart and my soul. This is how I feel. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying these are the feelings I have. That's what we're here to discuss, is how we feel about certain issues and topics. If people don't like it, I'm sorry, but I'm not here for people's approval of my opinions. That's not why I'm here.
Okay. All right. So does this apply when we have another? We're going to move on because I can go on this all day. I can do this all day. Come on with the All right,
Okay.
we're getting into Box Office Mojo because some of us actually have fucking work to do. I have to disconnect this desk.
So this is the last show we're going to be doing from this particular location that you're currently in.
The next time we do this show, well, technically, I think I have a work engagement a few days before, which hasn't been canceled or moved. So I may have to actually prepare for that. But assuming that somehow goes away or I ask for an extension, we will be doing the podcast from the basement of my new place.
So wait, okay, so are we going to do the show? Are we going to have a special show for Infinity War, or are we going to do it on the regular schedule the week after next?
Ooh, that kind of sucks that we can't do a special show for Infinity War. That makes sense.
We could. What do you mean we can't?
I can barely get this shit up and running. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do the show?
Why don't we just pencil it in and say it's a solid maybe? And if not, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But we'll give it a whirl.
Oh, I don't know because you seem excited for it. See, this is what I'm talking about. You seem excited for it. You're primed and ready to be like this. Oh my God, I cried. I never seen Captain America do such
I just
heroic
got
shit,
done
and
telling
it's
you.
just so like amazing. And then him and Bucky looked at each other. They're gay. I know they're gay. The way him and Bucky look at each other, I was like, oh God.
I don't, after all I've just said to you about how I've sort of been oversaturated with the freaking omnipotent presence of this movie, and I've been sort of like down and down low on my sort of anticipation level because of it. You still think I'm going to go in gushing?
This is the way you always do. You lower expectations, and then you still come back out and lather it up with praise. For the weekend ending April 20th through the 22nd of 2018, taking back the number one spot, A Quiet Place.
That
$22
movie's
million.
anything but quiet at the box office. But
It's made $132 million on a $17 million budget over 3 weeks. That's just domestic.
so clearly, this is this year's answer to Get Out, the
Yes.
sleeper hit that nobody expected to run away with all the money, but it did.
Yes, it's got a total of $200 million. Huge profit margins for them.
So, and John Krasinski has a second career when he, finally decides he's tired of working out and getting that hot body. Then he can just go behind the camera now.
Yeah, it's a good start for him. I mean, I still haven't seen it. Hopefully, I can get out there to do see it. I look forward to watching it. I hope it, once again, as usual with these things, lives up to the expectation.
Can I ask you a question? Is there a movie that doesn't have Mad Max in the title and that I don't actually take you to see that you would deem necessary or prescient enough to take 2 hours out of your hard on earth? Now, listen, I understand that you're in the middle of a move and things are all topsy turvy right now. I will give you a pass, but this movie's been out for like 3 weeks.
There's a lot going on in 3 weeks, Bill. I'm sorry. Shit's been flying back and forth in 3 weeks.
Listen, stop acting like you're on the board of directors of fucking Amazon, okay? Okay, you're not curing fucking diseases in the fucking Congo, all right? You don't have the vial that has the antidote to the fucking Ebola. All right? You
Bill,
can
there's lots of world building going over here in the Hellmouth. Lots of world building.
I understand. I understand. I also understand that there's a lot of like finger sliding up and down on the tablet. Okay. I also understand.
Fair enough. Listen, as long as they're shooting people in the theater, it makes me a little bit hesitant to go alone sometimes.
Oh, stop. You're so full of shit. That is not even it. The only reason you don't do it is because, like everybody else, movies are passe and you don't necessarily feel like it's worthy of your time. Even though you know it's going to be a good movie, you feel like, you know what? I'll just freaking rent the disc. This is where you are. And this is why there's going to be no movies in 10 years from now. And everything is going to have to be on Netflix at a fucking Netflix Marvel television budget. And when it happens, you're going to be part of the blame.
You know what? Maybe that should happen because the number 2 movie for this week is Rampage. Yeah, a video game movie pulled in $21 million.
Hey, again, as we've said, it's very hard to disappoint when you have The Rock in your movie. It's possible, it's happened, but it's rare.
Yeah, the movie's pulled in $66 million in 2 weeks, losing its number 1 spot to A Quiet Place. Its budget is $120 million. It's made most of its money overseas because they don't really have any taste in movies, so they pumped in $216 million to watch a video game movie. There you go.
I think The Rock is kind of like maybe a bigger international star than he is domestic. I don't think he's not a domestic star, but I think his international stardom is probably off the chart.
Listen, I like The Rock. I like Dwayne Johnson. There's no question. He has charisma. He has the whole action role thing down straight from the 80s. I'm a big fan. But Rampage is like Johnny Depp movies. Some movies that they do are just turds on sight. This is one of them. No questions asked. It just looks stupid to me. I
You know,
didn't mind
it,
The Rock.
it might very well be a turd. You don't think Jumanji is a big turd? And that's like the biggest hit in the history of Sony Studios.
Yeah, I thought that was a turd too.
Okay, right. But the point is, it's making somebody somewhere a shit ton of money.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, once again, if you're asking my opinion, not good. Not good.
I don't
This is
disagree, but I think
where I weep for the movie industry when you tell me that they pump $120 million into a movie with a giant ape, where the guy is running around going, "I gotta save my giant ape George," and then there's a giant wolf running around, and the guy's going like, "Oh, there's another wolf out there," and then there's a giant crocodile. I mean, it seems like it's made for somebody that's 10 years old.
do you
Okay.
understand the idea, Jay, of escapist entertainment? We have a country in which we are on the brink of World War III with, as you put it, an orange clown sitting in the highest office in the most powerful country in the world. People have had enough of the bullshit, and maybe they just want to sit the fuck down and watch a fucking ape run all over the fucking town for a couple hours. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Okay. I don't think we'll be getting a Rampage 2 unless it's going to be just released overseas. All
Fair
right.
enough.
Number 3 movie opening this weekend is I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer. It pulled
I
in
heard that
$16
movie is
million.
not doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, it cost 32 million bucks. I imagine a lot of that money was to pay her. Um, 16 million.
I think my friend Amy from work went to see it, and I think the premise to me, as the way she described it, sounds a little wonky. You have a girl who basically gets hit over the head. She's a big girl, Amy Schumer. Well, I don't think Amy Schumer's really that big, but I guess in Hollywood terms, she's a big boned girl, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Sure.
she gets hit over the head, and then she decides that she's like super pretty and gorgeous and supermodel worthy. I guess to me, I don't see the empowerment in that one when I don't know why she has to get hit over the head and see herself as skinny to feel beautiful. Like, I think that maybe that's a mixed message, and maybe that's why the movie, maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing, has something to do with why the movie isn't doing as well as maybe it was intended to do. Because I don't understand what kind of message that's supposed to send. I
A
don't think
woman
it's a
who
positive
struggles
message.
with feelings of insecurity and inadequacy on a daily basis wakes up from a fall believing she is suddenly the most beautiful and capable woman on the planet. With this newfound confidence, she is empowered to live her life fearlessly and flawlessly. But what will happen when she realizes her appearance never changed? You know
Right,
how
because in her mind, she sees herself as a skinny supermodel. When she looks in the mirror, the hit on the head
right,
causes her to delude herself into thinking she's thin.
right.
I don't
So I
know if
think
that's a positive message.
with the Kinberg writing, what ends up happening is all of a sudden somebody says, and she wakes up and she goes, "I'm still the same person," and then somebody's just like, "Yes, you were always the same person. You just have to find the beauty within yourself to know that no matter what you look like, that you can just live your life fearlessly and flawlessly." And that's what it's going to be. And she's going to be like, "Yes, that's right."
Right, but the flaw is in that you have to sit
Beautiful,
through a 2-hour movie for her to realize that she was pretty all along when she didn't have to get hit in the head to feel that way in the first place, is what I guess
right,
my point is.
right. That's the story.
Yeah, I don't
It's,
know. I think it's a little wonky, the whole premise.
okay, so that's a no for you. You're not going to go see that.
Yeah, no.
So
I mean,
you're
just
going
the
to
way
put
my friend Amy said she
so
loved it, but
so in the movies that you haven't seen, we're going to put in a no category: Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg, and I Feel Pretty, Amy Schumer. Okay, sounds good. All right.
no, actually, the movie I'm going to see Ready Player One. I'm going to buy the Blu-ray sight unseen. I guess in my preaching to you about not
I don't know
going to
why you're
movies.
acting like you're some sort of like high. You're on some mountain going like this. Ah, I haven't seen it, but I will buy the Blu-ray sight unseen. Like,
Well, I mean, it's an investment that I would be making that might turn out to bite me in the ass because basically I'll be wasting $20 if I end up not liking the movie. But I mean, when I
you
could just
don't act like you just don't buy shit sight unseen anyway. You're just like this. Ah, it has no use to me. I'll sell it back anyway. Whatever.
well,
20
I
bucks.
normally
Yeah,
I normally don't make a practice of buying movies that I haven't seen. I mean, that is becoming. Am I becoming you? Am I becoming the person who just doesn't go to the theater anymore? What's happening
Yeah,
to me?
yeah, that's exactly what
I
you're
can't
doing.
let this happen. I should just go out and see it now just to fucking make a point.
Because you find the comforts of your own home. The more you sit there and add shit to your room, you've got the 4K, you've got the fridge. All of a sudden, you've got all sorts of things, and now you're just like this. Why do I have to go and pay like $15 for premium seating? Premium seating is in my home. Fuck.
Yeah, it's not
I'll
about
just
the
wait.
$15, as you well know. It's not about the money for me. It's more about
I
like
know.
I'm just a fucking fat lazy piece of shit who doesn't want to fucking get up and get dressed and fucking leave my house. That's really
That's right.
basically where we're at.
Yeah. When you go to the theater by yourself next time, there's going to probably be somebody that smells like high heaven over there next to you. You're like this. Why am I in this situation? I'm leaving.
Well,
Number four, Super
this,
Troop.
thank God for superhero movies, or we'd never go to the movies. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about it. Thank God.
It's as these movies are a way to keep us connected. It's the same way I'm in your life is to keep you grounded and from like turning into some
Turning into
sort of
what?
hole under the bridge.
Get off my yard, kids.
Super Trooper 2. Did you ever see Super Troopers 1?
No, I did not. I can't believe they made a second one.
Well, it's a cult. I think it's got a cult following. So I think that's why you have your
Is
Super
that from the same
Troopers.
people who? No, that's not the people who did Shaun of the Dead, is it?
That I do not know.
I don't think so. Does it
I
star
would
that
say
idiot Simon Pegg? I hate Simon Pegg's guts.
no, it does not.
I hate
It's
him.
not. It pulled in 14 million. It costs 13 million to make. So hey, we're almost close to breaking even. Number
Again,
five
when you
movie.
make a movie for $10 million, it's nearly impossible not to make a profit. I
Sure.
mean, three people
Speaking of
in
profit,
every theater across the country, and boom, you've made it.
sure. Here's number five movie. Speaking of profit, Jason Blum production, Truth or Dare. Um, it's your fifth movie. It brought in another $8 million to bring its total over. I'm sorry, over 2 weeks, $38 million. The budget was 3 million.
Speaking of Blumhouse, I'm putting Glass on the schedule for us to see. Is that something we're go for in January?
Glass is in February of 2019.
January.
Yeah, we can do that. Is there any
Okay.
other January releases?
Uh-uh.
Well, we can put Glass on it.
Okay. Because we've decided by the way, we need to talk about this real quick. The Deadpool trailer, which I haven't seen because I'm trying, I did watch the third trailer for Jurassic World, and I do feel like now I remember why I don't watch third trailers, because it is, again, a shining example to me of like, why don't they just fucking give you the whole movie in a 2-minute trailer?
Yeah, I
Um,
thought I saw the article for Jurassic World, the next trailer, and it said like this: "This dinosaur is the most biggest, most powerful dinosaur they have ever faced." There you go, Bill. That's the original one, huh? I look forward to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom 2, where they find even a bigger dinosaur than the last one from the last one from the last movie. As long
here's
as
what
you
they could
fools keep paying your money for that type of thing, I guess they'll just keep putting out
here's what
bigger.
they could call it, and they've still got me at the theater. They could call
There
it
we go.
Jurassic World Chris Pratt's ass,
I
and
know.
I'm there.
There you go. There you go. That's it. I think everybody should know that your opinions are just based on libido. That's it. That's it. All these arguments, all this thing here, whatever else like that, originality. Nope. You're just basic.
Yes, I am. I am the dictionary definition of a basic bitch, and I will own that shit. Um, but I do want to say, for the Deadpool trailer, I felt like I got burned by watching the third Jurassic World trailer, not because it didn't look good, but because I felt like it gave too much away. So I have not watched the Deadpool trailer, the third one, because I'm trying not to give, even though I'm not super invested in this whole franchise, I don't want to see the whole thing before I actually do go see it, which I really think I will do. Did you watch the Deadpool trailer, the third one that came out this week?
I believe I can't remember now. I think I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
And
I
do
mean,
you have an impression of it? that the
No,
other
it's the
trailers
same
didn't
thing
give
as
you?
impression. I think with the Deadpool franchise, it's the same thing. I think if they were actually to do this like a real superhero movie, I would enjoy it so much more. Like it's on the cusp of what I want to see in the movie, but it's wrapped up in this other shit of like witty banter in every corner instead of actually just having like these cool new heroes show up and do cool stuff. I mean, once again, these some of these movies are once again like licking the toes and flicking the nipples instead of actually getting down and dirty. Like they're on the edge of greatness, but they just don't want to actually end up doing anything. So either they'll do a movie where it's just slow and plotting and they're talking about characters and feelings, or they actually do some movie where they're actually doing some cool action scenes, introducing cool characters with superpowers, but then they made it like 80% of it being a comedy. So, I mean, within this shell of smart ass comedy, there's some just good scenes in it, but it is what it is. So
Okay, so did it appeal to you more than the other trailers, the same as the other trailers, or less than the other trailers for
the
this
first
movie?
trailer didn't appeal to me, but the second and the third trailer did.
Okay.
I don't think the
Okay.
movies be great for me because of just what they are, breaking the fourth wall.
Right.
It's too much for me. But I think within there, there's going to be some cool action scenes of
Okay.
superheroes. So, I mean, you know what it is, Bill. I really don't know if it really fits what we
Yeah,
want.
it's weird.
You
Neither
know,
neither one of us.
it's like us going out to eat dinner, and then they put something on the plate. There'll be a steak, but then there'll be like liver pate right next to it. I mean, you'll eat the steak, but you don't really want the liver pate, but it still comes with the meal.
Neither one of us are huge fans of this particular franchise. So much so that I think we agreed to sort of take it off the schedule for this when it comes out in June.
Oh,
So I mean that was my understanding, unless I'm mistaken.
I find that I don't know if that was our understanding, but I'm up for taking it off.
Okay. Um, because we have Ant Man and the Wasp, which is coming in July anyway. So
Oh fuck! Give me Deadpool versus Ant-Man and Wasp. Fuck me.
I don't know why you have to hate on my boy Paul Rudd
Oh, I don't have
and
a problem with Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd.
my girl. Oh fuck, Michelle
Janet
Pfeiffer.
Dine.
Oh yeah, and her too. But Michelle Pfeiffer, I live for Michelle Pfeiffer. So
Whatever. Anyway, Bill, it's been fun.
yeah. All right. I guess we're done.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Okay.
We're done. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes here. We're done.
Okay. Fair
I'm gonna
enough.
go sit and chill. My woman's coming over to collect some of this shit to take to her place, and then I gotta
So
start packing.
tomorrow morning is the deadline, and everything's going to be ready to roll by then. Are the dogs like feeling a certain way about like can they feel it like in the air? They say pets can sort of feel like disturbances in the force.
I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of changes for them. You know they're old as shit, so
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know. It's
Okay.
it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna get their haircuts on Tuesday though.
Oh, cool.
Uh, I figured I'd splurge for them because Scooties is looking like a Wookiee,
Yeah, I know.
and um,
Plus, he's
I
going to be
mean,
shedding all over your girlfriend's house, and that's not going to be good.
yeah, that's convenient. Yes. So I don't know. It's going to be big changes. Diapers,
Do you
new
feel any
environment.
particular, I don't know, angst? Not angst, but like you're going to miss your house. Like this is goodbye to your house. You've been living
Nah,
there
fuck
for
no.
like 7 years?
Yeah, no,
Really?
fuck no.
You
No,
don't have any like sentimental attachment at all to that place?
nope, not at all.
Really? Because it's sheltered you from cold and rain and snow and
Nope,
ice and heat.
nope, not at all.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. I'm just trying to keep this popsicle house up before keep it up for a few more days till they sign the paperwork. That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
so no attachment there. I think my angst comes from being in a different place for a whole week before getting to the final destination because you're not
Right.
really settling in. You're just
Where are
really
you
just
putting all of your shit in your girlfriend's house before you move it to the new place? Like in the
why would I tell
basement?
you that over why would I tell you on the podcast for criminals to come in and take my shit?
Well, no one knows the address, Jay. I wasn't asking for the fucking street address.
I know you is. It's going to be put in her garage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So um, she
You
should
must
be
have a big
cleaning
ass
that stuff.
garage.
Well, I was looking over the stuff. I think depending on how it's put in there, you can do it. I really don't want them to put the boxes into her place because then when we do another move, then they're gonna have to go on there and get those boxes. This time is money. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Sure.
Time is money. You know how
Okay.
I am with this shit. Like, you know, um, the quicker the better. I don't want them sitting around eating some Snickers bar. I need their asses to be constantly working across the clock.
Wow, really? I said, get out there and get that furniture moving. Okay. Well, I mean, they are getting paid like $150 an hour. I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pack up my own computers and TVs and all that shit like that, and they're gonna take care of all this big stuff.
So they're not
I
moving the
mean,
TVs and stuff?
no, no, I'm gonna move the TVs because
In
with
your
their
car?
insurance, they pay you by the pound.
Oh,
So
really?
your $2,000 TV that probably weighs what 25, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
They give you like 60 cents on the dollar, so they'll give you like $20 or something.
Really?
It's based on weight. They were telling me sometimes it's based on weight. And so the TV is one of those items that you get fucked on that weight formula.
Right.
So why risk it? It's probably better I transport my own television. So if anything happens, I only have myself to blame,
But
and I
you're
don't want to
leaving
have to
the
deal with it.
kitchen TV for the new residence, correct?
Yeah, because that whole DVD doesn't work in there. So,
Right. Do they know it
but yeah,
doesn't work?
no, but they'll sit there and
Surprise!
keep putting in the DV 1,500 times, and it just won't work.
Really? Why even leave it then, Jay? That just seems like a dick move. Why don't you just
Well,
take it out and throw it away?
you can put up a Roku, you can attach a cable to it, you can watch live television on it. You just probably won't be able to watch movies
Okay.
unless you're patient.
Okay.
I mean, Bill, you know how many times I sit in my kitchen while fixing breakfast trying to put in a movie, even after I put in the cleaning disc that you bought for me.
Hmm.
It takes me like 20 times of opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing. And by the time this all gets done, I'm just done with breakfast and don't have time to even watch 5 minutes of the movie if it does come on.
You know how
And
to
every
resolve
time I want
that?
to take a hammer and smash it, I'm going to take a hammer and just smash it.
You know, there was a probably easy way to fix that. Just, buy a new
Get a
one.
new one. Yeah, the new
So are
ones
you
are
going to
more.
have, are you going to, I mean, clearly this is like a breakfast tradition for you with the whole like sitting in there eating your cereal while you're watching the TV. Are you getting a new one for your new place?
Well, I'm kind of trying to angle that in there, but with my woman, she's like, "There's just going to be too many TVs,"
I'm sorry,
and
what?
I know,
What?
I know.
Too many TVs. That's just ridiculous.
So it's unclear right now because I think I have to soft pedal it because you don't want to put too much technology out for her. She doesn't see it right now, but because the way the setup is the TV's around the corner. So while I'm fixing breakfast, I can't actually see the television
Right, which is a
from
whole
that
thing that
angle.
you do. That's a
Right.
thing for you, like you've always done.
Yeah. So I mean, so I don't know yet. I don't know.
I mean, do they even still make DVD players for like? I don't
Oh
even know
yeah,
if they still make those.
oh no, I did the research. There's some
Oh, did
models
you?
out there that are like $600 under the cabinet televisions. Oh yeah, some are gorgeous looking.
$600. I mean, surely it must have a Blu-ray or a 4K in it, right?
I don't know if it has a 4K in it.
Well, it has to have at least Blu-ray for $600. I mean, do they even make DVDs anymore? Really?
Okay,
It's like the VHS of the old school.
motherfucker. What are you doing tonight?
I'm going to watch Captain America: Civil War. Or at least I'm going to start it, so I'll probably watch at least half of it, and then just relax and get back to work tomorrow.
You gotta
So
go to work
I do.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, you hold the fort down. Hopefully, by the time you give me a call at 4:30, I will be done.
I hope so. You said it's going to take 6 hours for the general
That's the
move-in.
high estimate. So, you know,
Okay.
yeah, I
Well,
guess
good luck
so.
with everything. I'm sure it'll go fine.
Yeah. Wish us luck. The dogs will be in diapers all day tomorrow, so this will be a very interesting change of life for them.
I don't know if you really want to be giving these dogs too many changes of life at their age. Seems like this is like, cause for disruption of
My
their.
last story is we took Ferguson for a walk yesterday, and as we're walking, there's a mailbox across the street, and as we get near it, it's by the way, it's across, it's on the other side of the street. He lifts his head up and he starts going, and Chris is like, "There's no dog over there, Ferg," and I go, "He's barking at the mailbox."
Do you think he can't see it? Is that why he like it just looks like a big fuzzy blur to him? Maybe.
Yeah, it's shadows. What I've noticed now when I come home from work, like he's like in some sort of like deep coma sleep. Like I can literally walk up on him and I shake him and he doesn't move. And then I have to shake him again and he opens up his eyes and you can just see him like this. Intruder! Intruder!
And then he's like, "Oh, it's just Dad."
Oh, it's you. It's you. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
he's-
They don't
I
make
think in the
contacts
dog-
for dogs, do they?
I think in the dog years, he's got to be pushing like 90. He's got to
Yeah,
be pushing 90.
he's probably pretty old, Jay.
So,
I mean, give the guy a break. He's like, like I said, he's got all kinds of shit, but he's hanging in there.
yeah, he's spry. He's spry for a little guy. So, I mean, his piss smells to high heaven because I had to wash the porch off before they came to look at the house yesterday. And I was out there scrubbing his piss off the back porch. It smells like fucking North Korea, like uranium or something. It's just like some nasty ass shit.
It's old piss. It's like old people piss. That's what it is. It's like cat pee. You can't get that shit out.
It's like decomposing body smell. Whatever it is, I just want to yak every time I wipe. I'm like, ugh.
It's like death urine. It's like the urine of death. All right.
Okay. We'll talk later.
All right.
It's
Bye.
been fun.
Yeah,
Bye.
wait, don't we have to play a goodbye song? I was going to say,
Wait, what do you want?
don't you have to play a song?
Yeah, I'm gonna play the song now. Thanks for listening to episode 65. We'll see you in 2 weeks from the new location. I've been your co-host Payne.
I'm Bill.
See you in 2.
Bye.